Good morning, traders. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic Friday morning. So we got NFP out and it was a bit of a miss. So we had, in expectations, they had a forecast of 110K and they only got 73K. But the unemployment number come in last month at 4.1%. 4.2 was the expectation and 4.2 is what we got. So the only thing that missed as far as on these two data points, there are a whole host of data points that come out during this break. So this ain't the only thing people are looking at. There's going to be much more. But as far as these two, these are the two big ones. And so that's why you're seeing a reaction that you're seeing. Yesterday, after we went live, the markets continued to sell off. The S&P 500 did, and we had a big spike on the VIX. We're back up into the same territory that we were when the president was threatening to fire Powell. Obviously, I mean, we'll see what happens moving on, but when we're above this yearly opening range on the VIX, I have to wonder what's going on, you know what I mean? So we have a deeper correction. Let's go to the main index, the SPX, not the 500. Right here. So when we open today, you're going to be well under the options expected range lows. You're also going to be losing the July VWAP. And since we're seeing a big spike on the yen specifically, not necessarily dollar weakness, we are seeing dollar weakness, but since the yen specifically has popped up, that's going to have longer or bigger ramifications for risk on markets. Because if the yen is firming up here, then we could see a deeper correction on things like Bitcoin and the ES. All right, so just be careful out there. We were looking for this. We've been watching this for days. We've been looking for USD JPY to literally wreck everybody, and it has been doing that all week long. Yesterday during the live stream, I went over specifically what we were looking for today. I told everybody yesterday to make sure if you want to participate in the move to watch the close for this day and then look to position yourself before NFP, because if this is going to be a bull trap, then you want to be able to sell it up here. Now, I just posted a video on my channel going over that analysis, and in the live stream here, if you don't want the cut down version, then just watch the live stream, and I posted exactly where to start for the USD JPY analysis. This was done live. This is not edited. So if you don't want to watch the edited version, which is quicker, then just watch that. But the video, I don't want to upload. Sorry about that. But the video is right here. It's still being checked, but it'll be good. It's right here, right? It's just the analysis from yesterday. Go check it out, because I'm telling you, there's not many people that you're going to find that was talking about this before it happened. And we did. Like, we do this consistently and have been doing it consistently for years. But anyways, we're looking for a trade today. And the problem is are we going to see alts get murked today as they have been? Oh, yesterday's trade on Bonk worked out perfectly. I said I wanted to sit in it. I got short up here. I wanted to see multiple 4-hour candles run lower. I got that move. So this morning I went ahead and closed it. But you can see right here, the same exact setup is happening again. And since we're seeing yen weakness, this may cause a big down day. So things like Fartcoin is extremely oversold right now on the 4-hour. You're oversold on the 8-hour. You're not quite oversold on the daily. I'm not saying this is the end of the bull market. Please understand, I'm talking about for today, right? My USD JPY analysis is for the rest of the year. If it breaks down out of that bear trap or bear flag formation, then I can set in that short for the rest of the year. That's my plan. But it may or may not work, right? I don't know. But as far as nailing the trade before NFP, we knew NFP was today. We knew it was, so I went ahead and took the short again. And then if I'm wrong this time, I'm going to get out. I'll be done with it. And it worked. It absolutely worked. We have right now made a trap on the USDJPY. So this looks extended. You're going to have a lot of people trying to buy it. We're also ahead of the yearly opening range on Fartcoin. I don't love to be bearish here because it's already had such an extended move to the downside, but it's hard for me to buy it, especially after getting a higher unemployment tick and worse jobs numbers. Here's the thing though, a higher unemployment tick could force the Fed's hand if we get another one, for instance, in September. This month's, today is the first of the month. Brand new monthly candle opening today. So that's beautiful. And we just got the NFP for the month of August. Next month in September, you'll get another NFP print. And if we get another uptick in employment, that may or may not cause them to go ahead and start cutting interest rates. So market participants could look at this bad unemployment number as a reason to get long today, right? So even though it's bad and the bad news or would suggest that we should probably look for shorts, we don't know how market participants are going to want to position for this. So we'll just have to play it by ear as we go. The hype trade that I was looking for yesterday, I ended up closing on stream. Obviously, it worked out. But you can see here on this 4-hour candle, it ultimately did run up and make fresh daily highs. So even if I would have kept my short on, remember, it was right here at this line, I would have gotten stopped out, and then the move would have happened without me. So either way, by me taking my money and running was the better decision than to sit and wait to see if I ultimately get the move that I was anticipating. That's all we can do as traders, is manage our money. So that's what I did. But ultimately it did work out. And this one isn't as oversold as some of your others, right? You don't have oversold on the 8-hour yet. You're not oversold on the daily. In fact, yesterday's close was a clean breakdown through the 50 here. But you're hitting an area of potential support. So what I may do today is I may wait for the open, which is in 3 minutes, allow some of these things to pull back a little bit intraday, and then maybe look for a short on one, and then potentially look for a long on another one. Because that's the only way I can manage my risk. What do we have right now on the total 2 and total 3 charts? Well, downside continuation, but a rejection. On Bitcoin, we've liquidated last week's low, which is a level we've been talking about for 2 weeks now because each weekly low has been liquidated. Last week, we liquidated the prior week. This week, we liquidated last week. These have all been buying ops because the price action is still structured bullish. You have a big near-term trend line here. That's why you're seeing people buy it up down there. If the yen continues its strength today, I would want to fade this bullish move. If the yen continues to be strong today, I would be fading this bullish pop. Just for today, though. Because I think, just because we're seeing that blow off on the yen, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to have downside continuation. So this, like I said, this may make the Fed cut. It may not. But that's what we're going to look for today. The market's opening here in just a few seconds. So yeah, let's get on Fartcoin and see what it does. It's only down 0.28%. So we could look for a big move up on Fartcoin or look for a big move down on Fartcoin. We're pretty much neutral on the day. And since we know Fartcoin can move anywhere between 5 and 10% per day, we want to position ourselves to catch 5% of that move, whether it's up or down. Right now, it looks like down, but last 4-hour sessions candles high is still untested. Untested here, okay? So I would rather short it if we run up through this white line at $1. It's $1, but you do have what is that, like 5? It's not even I don't even know. It's a lot smaller than a penny. So at $1, if we run above $1 and then fail, back under the buck, I might be looking for the short on fart. And then some of your others are down. Bonk and Penguin currently up. Bonk has already ran that 4-hour high. So is Pingu. But Pingu is doing a fresh breakdown right now. Out of the trend line. It's not a very good trend line. It's not a very long-term trend line. And your yearly open is down here. So this could force a big move down if it does ultimately break down. So the same price will be watched, right? Right above the previous 4-hour candle's high. We're pretty much below everything. This is going to be a few days ago. Give me 1 second here. Let me make sure that we got our VWAP on for the day. Kind of want to keep an eye on that. There's a lot of stuff going on this morning. What happened? It didn't. There it is. Okay, so we're right at the volume weighted average price right here, right now. Oh man, so pretty. So yesterday we were looking for the volume to build in. Yesterday's video, the point of control was down here. I said I want to see it move up, migrate up, and then I would be able to put on the short. Not only did we get that migration up on yesterday, when you opened today, you spent a lot of time trading here. So all these people that got long yesterday are stuck. You're under the daily low, yesterday's low. This is a bearish engulfing, the top of the pattern. So basically what I want to see moving on from this for the next couple days into next week. So I want to see this thing reprice lower. Boom, boom, boom. That's what I want. If I got that, then I know my short here is good. I did lose 2 trades trying to catch this short before we got the trap. All right, I did short it over here earlier on in the week, and I did try it again yesterday. The trap candle got me, so I have lost 2 attempts on it. It is very difficult to position yourself even if you have anticipated a pretty good directional move. Sometimes you can still miss the trade. All right, it can still be difficult. But we do a pretty good job of catching them. So moving back over here to Fartcoin, you can see we're barely moving on the day, but I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red days in a row. It kind of seems at some point the buyers would kick in here. So we do have market open. What's the VIX doing? VIX is pushing higher. I would love to find one that is currently like overbought. It's going to be difficult, isn't it? That's definitely not overbought. Definitely not. Don't do this again. My internet is good. I don't know. It's this platform. Don't know what's going on with it. Bonk. Okay, so Bonk looks like a good participant. It's already liquidated, so let's just go ahead and take a quick little scalp short on Bonk. Just to get into the position. We can always exit the position. We're not getting into it with a large position size. We're just going to get in with a very small position size. And then we'll manage that as time progresses. It's impossible to know what's going to happen in today's range. We can see what it has done today, but we will never know what intraday volatility or chaos is going to throw at us moving on in time. But let's go ahead and just see where. Oh, so my internet is lagged up real fast. Hang on, what's going on here? Oh, I bet it's because YouTube is running checks. That was dumb. It was dumb on my part. Download speeds are fantastic. Upload speeds are good. I don't know what's going on. Why it's lagged up. Okay, it's back to normal. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's plenty sufficient to run a live stream. Let me pause this. There. Okay. Let's see what this does. So here's your complete entire daily range. We don't care really what happened yesterday, right? It doesn't really matter. It's today that people are making a decision on everything. Because you just got big news today. We know there's no rate cuts coming as of now. Well, that's what they were pricing in yesterday. Yesterday, they were pricing in the day before the Fed rate decision. This was at 60-something%. Oh, it was way up in here. And then we get the rate decision, and then the next day, we're down here. So now more market participants were pricing in no rate cut. Let's see what they're saying now after non-farm payrolls. But we will still get one more number, one more jobs print. Oh, see that? That's a cut. This could be bullish for the markets today. Okay, we're going to close that short. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to Fartcoin because it's down. And we're going to buy this biatch. Here, let's wait. Oh, I don't know if you'll get a run all the way down there. Let's go ahead and take that position I just closed on Bonk was also like $25 if you're wanting to keep track. We made a lot of money this week. We made a lot of money last week. So when I'm getting in and out of these scalps, I promise you I'm losing pennies on dollars. I'm looking to make dollars. I'm looking to lose pennies. That's how I roll. So I can jump in and out with ease. I have no problem doing that. Let me get, or could we just do the bonk since the bonk has a trade setup here? We have a demand level. We could watch on this since we've already got a trending candle. That's at the top of the day's range. Give me a second. I'll figure out what we're gonna do. Just give me a second here. I was busy messing with that video that I didn't take time to analyze anything. That's okay though. I can look at a chart and know what I'm looking at in seconds. We got 2 hours, 21 minutes left on this close. Here, let's just do this. That encapsulates the entire day's range. At least we'll have something to guide our hands. Okay, so we can be buyers on Bonk as low as 96 cents. As that would be undervalued. We could buy it now. That's not Bonk, that's Fartcoin, sorry. Fartcoin, we're on Fartcoin. We're going to look to be a buyer on this. Just to say that maybe these things are hit, right? They're hit. They've been hit for 2 solid weeks. So maybe we get a bounce today. A lot of people are looking for this news to be super bearish. They might not anticipate rate cuts yet. We're in a rate cutting cycle, so it's best to give the bulls that respect. Rate cuts is bullish generally, speaking for the overall market participants. But we don't know how they're going to take it, right? So you can buy one of these and short the other one and kind of offset that risk. Just make sure you're situating it. But I actually want to look to see what happens here. Bonk is up on the day. Let's see, are we getting an oversold signal yet? Almost. Hate doing that right at the open. Hate doing this right at the open. We'll buy the 786 with a very tight stop. Very tight stop. Might actually need to just go ahead and jump in because you've already tagged oversold here. So if they're gonna run it up, they could do it from here. We just have to find out if they want to run it up or if they do want to in fact make it go lower. VIX is up 18%. That's not really good. 1978. Generally, I would be very bearish on this day with the VIX up like that. Let me see what they're doing on risk. Looks like they're going to keep pushing it lower. So basically, if we start closing minute or 30-second candles under this level, then I'll just get out with a $40 loss, and then I'll wait to see if it finds support. Because right now they're running lows on the S&P. I mean pushing too. Here's your SPX. They're pushing. You're in fresh lows here. You're well below last week's low. Well below it. So the next liquidation point would be the previous week's low right here. So if they run for that, then I'd say your alts are just going to get murked today. And trying to get long isn't probably very wise. We'll see. Fartcoin has been extremely beat up. They can keep it beat up though. That's the problem. So keep this on watch, because basically this is where you're looking for it to go to. So here's last week's low. So you're gapping down under last week's low. And then we want to keep on the previous week's low. And then we got July's open there. But you're well under the weekly expected range for this week. So today might just stay bearish, but I doubt it, right? I doubt it. Rate cuts are being priced back in. That's 400 to 425. We're at 425, 450. And it's 75% chance now. This number will more than likely just go up the further we go. But we will get one more NFP print before the Fed has their next rate decision. So back over to FART we go, as it is pushing into the level. And that is a very minuscule loss. I'll show you, because I have nothing to hide. I have no positions open. I made $600 on the closing, or at the closing of that bonk short today. So we're good. We made money, or I made money. It's just we got to make you guys some money. And we're going to work on that. So down here on the chart, we're pushing into the 786 of the daily range. We're undervalued down here. It could just keep pushing, so we're going to jump out quick if it starts to run hard. I just wanted you to know that I'm not losing like thousands of dollars or anything. $32, $33. Since I'm 600 up, I can afford a loss of $30. Let's go back to the minute and see where this closes. Closes matter. They matter so much. And that's going to be a close under. So I'm going to go ahead and close the trade. That's 2 small losses here. Let's see if we keep going or if it finds support. And the reason, to be honest with you, the Farcoin is a loss is because I took it on that first initial bounce. What is going on with this platform? I refreshed it. The internet's golden. So right here is the daily low. This will also be an area of potential opportunity. But everything looks like it's wanting to go lower. So Bonk is pushing back into the lows. So this first initial push could be just the fake move here. What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning. What's up, Janet? Good morning, Jewelry Affairs. Good morning. Where do you think we're within the cycle? You got it pretty accurate. Okay, so here's my theory on cycle theory. The 4-year cycle theory, I think, is what he's talking about. Bitcoin has been operating on a clear 4-year market cycle based on the halvings. But we've got something new in 2025 we never had before in Bitcoin, and that's 10 ETFs. Then MicroStrategy opened up a couple other trading assets. So now more people than ever before have access to Bitcoin price movements. So honestly, I think the 4-year cycle model is done based on ETFs, right? Because now the halving, it still matters, but it's not going to have as much of an impact as it did in the past. So I don't really care if you want to use 4-year cycle model, then November you want to take profits. This November. And later on in the video we'll go over why. But if the 4-year cycle model is going to remain intact for Bitcoin, then the peak or the top of the market should be in pretty close to November, December of this year. That is if it's going to continue, the 4-year cycle model. Because it's always been that way. It's always been. That's why we were bearish in November of 2021. Because of the 4-year cycle model. And because the main reason we were bearish is because the Fed was going into a rate cutting environment or rate hiking environment. Like they left the dovish territory and went straight into hawkish. You know what I mean? They did a 180-degree turn on monetary policy. That's why we got bearish on Bitcoin, and we used the 4-year market cycle to dictate where we wanted to basically start to become sellers. This is different now. The macro backdrop is not the same as it was during the last cycle. The macro backdrop supports rate cuts. That is typically bullish. Not rate hikes. They're not going to be hiking interest rates anytime soon. They will tell you before they ever do it. So we're getting ready to run the low of day on Farcoin. It looks pretty bearish, guys, out there right now. Dominance is pushing up. Bitcoin's getting hit. So they might not buy it based on the rate cut. Because we're already under, if you look up at Bitcoin's daily chart, you're already under last week's low. So we would want to see the buyers start to pick up here. You're already well under the 50 up here. Now today's close will be more important, but look how yesterday closed. So if this was going to be a liquidation break, you would liquidate the low and then break back up into that range. We're not in that range. We are lower than the range. So this is the very definition of downside continuation. This is what we do not want to see if we have a bullish bias on Bitcoin, which we do. So this could mean something else. Right? You can see this is your S&P futures. You're pushing under the previous week's low. You're going towards that other weekly low. That's not great. I mean, you got a previous month low down there. So if you look at this on a monthly chart, now, to be fair, we could be setting the monthly, the August month's low, but the VIX is elevated up over 20 now. So I wouldn't actually, to be honest with you, don't buy it. Don't buy Farcoin. The VIX is up over 20. That means something. Go ahead and let's look at Bonk. Let's just try to catch a scalp on Bonk to the downside. Farcoin's already down 6%. Let's let this bounce a little bit if it will, and we'll short Bonk and we'll target the last 4 hour. Wait a minute. Yeah, we'll target the last 4 hour candles low. The VIX is pushing. That's why, like, this is different. This is very different here. There is no gaps up here to fill. You have filled this gap completely now. And you're still pushing. Very, very, very not good. So that's why you're seeing us move much lower. This is the fresh monthly open here, and we've already moved back into well into July's range, but it could find a bottom. Could find a bottom, or it could just keep exploding lower, as there are a lot of levered longs stuck in this crap. The best way we can partake in this would be to... It's hard to short right into support. It literally is. We could take a small short for the breakdown, see if we can catch a breakdown. I hate breakdowns. I hate them with a passion. I think the VIX is going to find the top. It's just where. There's not much to look for it to find the top. You got a daily resistance up there, and that's it. Like, here's the question: does it want to push all the way up there before it finds resistance? Are we looking to liquidate July's low? Really? There's that previous week's low. Is that July's low on that chart? No. But it's not far. This isn't the same level. Let's get rid of that, and let's go get that previous week's low, because that's the next thing to go for. And what's Bitcoin doing? Previous month's midpoint here. The bonk trade is kind of working, but we'll see what it does. I would hate to miss out on a big, huge ass short today if the VIX is going to continue to rip. but I think it will ultimately find resistance. Dance on the graves, sloth bag. Mr. Sloth. The man, the myth, the legend. He's the kind of guy that can lay on a tree bench and bask in the sun's glory. I'm not as good at it as you are, Sloth. Am I playing Tesla for a bounce off some... No, I'm not trading Tesla yet. I'm waiting for the breakdown or breakout on Tesla. We can go look at Tesla real quick while we're watching Bonk here not break down. Remember, guys, when you see this kind of stuff, you gotta be very, very cautious, because this is where buyers can literally hammer it when everybody is so bearish. That's usually the time that you want to start looking the opposite direction. The VIX is extremely extended to the upside. A 20 VIX is huge. Tesla. We are watching this, so if it does break down, we do think that there will be a larger move. So I'll just wait for the breakdown to confirm and then potentially look for a larger move, like target May's open. As this does look like a failure, right? It does look like this overall pattern is getting closer to resolution. And the resolution looks lower. I hate to say it, but it's true. So true. Okay, Bonk has liquidated, Fart has liquidated the low. So we'll try our luck with the Fart long and we'll keep the Bonk short on for now. And then as time moves on, we'll be able to close the one that doesn't seem to be working out. And then we'll ride the other one to glory. Glory! But we've done more than just liquidated the daily low here. It's testing the yearly open. Right? So if it's going to bounce, we would expect it to be in this area. If is a big word. That's what the Spartans said to that one guy. If. That one guy is Alexander the Great's daddy. Said to the Spartans, if I invade Sparta, I will destroy you. And then the Spartans sent back a message. It was one word. If. If you invade. We might get to you first, buddy. The Spartans were gangsters, man. Gangsters. So basically, we would just want to see, because everybody's bearish. You got the VIX exploding. You got the S&P melting to the downside. USD, JPY literally obliterating everybody that bought it. Looking for continuation of dollar strength. We're going to exit the bonk. It's getting a little bit out of control. Bonk is right at 4-hour support. So that's a difficult short for me. That's not how I operate. I operate up in here. It's just, we're going live and everything's just in the middle of the range. Not a great thing here. We got the fart coin long on. Maybe it won't let us down, right? Maybe it'll start ripping to the upside. We could just be wrong and lose everything today. When I say everything, I mean every trade, right? Not everything. no way I'm going to lose $600 in today's live stream. All right. The USD JPY, or the Japanese yen, is ripping to the upside still. Here is that chart. It's important to also keep an eye on that because, like I said, that will have greater bigger implications, right? Because if your Japanese yen, this is the yen futures, is super bullish like this, then that's going to support a risk off narrative. So positioning for today is difficult because we could see where support could come in since the Fed is going to cut or might. So we could see where today could find support. But at the same time, you've got the VIX pushing higher. You're at 2132. And the yen just liquidated a couple days worth of price action there. Let me see what the yen is liquidated. Let me get a daily chart up. Okay, so we've liquidated 2 days of lows. That's probably a good week's worth of move. No, you've not liquidated any weeklies, highs. Just the daily, just 2 days. That's a great big old day though. Big old beautiful day. I'm short up at like right where we said we had to, kind of negate the short trade if you get upside continuation, which we did not get. It stalled out right there. Fartcoin is basically looking like it's trying to find a little bit of support here. Let's see what we got on volume. We got a pretty good sized volume candle there, but nothing major. That was your daily low. If it can't even get back above that, then we'll bounce. We will bounce. Give it a little bit of time here. A little bit. We don't start seeing big candles, we're probably going to be wrong on this. So yeah, your volume is going up as price is going up. This is what we want to see. We want to see an explosion of volume and we want to see price go up, not down. What's cumulative volume delta look like? So we're bullish on the 30-second chart, cumulative volume delta. Are we bearish on the 1 minute? On cumulative volume delta? Yes. This is the same thing we had yesterday. So every larger time frame chart was bearish volume, but the 30-second has bullish volume. But yesterday ultimately had a big move lower. Yesterday's move was down. It did have a slight move up, but ultimately it rolled over. So if this fails to get above this hourly candle's midpoint, then we're going to short it. Are we pushing back up on anything else? Bonk has barely moved. It's just down 0.6%. So Bonk still has a trade. Bonk is bullish on a high time frame volume cumulative delta. But you can see where it's now showing you that big sell side volume coming in. Go back to Fartcoin as it's pushing up. We're going to keep our focus on Bonk and Fartcoin today. Okay? Because those are the usual big movers. So Bonk is showing us this is potentially bearish, even though it's above the zero line. The huge volume is moving lower. And price is moving higher. That's not great. But Fartcoin is showing us the exact same formation that we saw yesterday. Cumulative volume delta on the 30-second was bullish, but on every other time frame it was bearish. So I need to take a snapshot of this, because I'm wondering if there's any meaning to that. On the long term, there might not be, right? What we have on this midpoint to this move is right around that 786. Okay, we could take the short on Bonk because it's testing the last hour's open. VIX did tag resistance. VIX did tag resistance at daily res. So that could be it for the VIX. Maybe. We'll see. Time will tell. Hang on, don't get too don't get too froggy yet. You're pushing above that. Come on, Fart. Give us that expansion. Up. Right in here is that midpoint. So just to go ahead and show you, like if I were to close the Fartcoin trade right now, I would make back both the losses I've already made on the two initial setups. So we're doing okay. Nothing major yet. I want to see it push up well above that midpoint. Kind of show me that today is going to be a perfect buying opportunity on risk based on that rate cut being priced back in. So right in here is the hourly mid. So keep going, baby. Now we're well overbought here. But there's no divergence here on the cumulative volume delta like you do have on Bonk. The Bonk is still showing us bearish, but I don't take trades based on this because it's so unclear. I don't have enough back-testable data yet. But I've seen this be bearish before and price explode to the upside. So really and truly, we shouldn't even be looking at that thing. Where could we potentially short Bonk? If we wanted to short it. Here? Yeah, probably. So we'll watch 5-minute candles. We don't want to see candles closing above this line. If they start closing above this line, then the market participants are all sides, and it's going up today. And that would be based on rate cuts back in the market. See, I got to go back and delete my X post. That's a joke. I never delete anything. I want people to see when I get stuff wrong. You know what I mean? Keeps me honest. People need to see that you can make money even if you don't know what price is going to do. Because we don't. None of us know what price is going to do. So if you're watching Bonk, like if you have a more short side bias today because you see that the VIX is up at 2106 and you see that the yen is exploding to the upside and you want to have a bearish bias, because you think this big spike here is going to get sold into. This is your area to short. You will just close it if you start consistently closing like 1 minute candles above this line, because you may be wrong, right? If you're right, then it technically you should not be closing higher candles. This is your high of day. I know the box is a little bit higher. It's just because this is an illiquid asset. There's a tick up there, right? That's all. There's no volume up there or no candle movement up there. It's just a tick. That's, you got filled up there if you were trying to exit or buy. So if it's going to roll over, you should not be pushing higher and closing higher candles. So I haven't taken the short yet. I'm just holding the long on Fartcoin. So we've more than made back the 2 losses. If we take this trade off, we could set a stop loss up to $60 and that would cover both losses. But if we do that, that tells the market that we want to be a seller at a lower price than where price is currently trading. Not a great idea. But look at Bonk. So Bonk would be the one to short. It's actually high on the daily range. You're up at overvalue now. So we'll short Bonk and we'll leave the long Fart open. On a pop though, not on a down candle. So Bonk is actually testing 4-hour resistance also. Right? But on the 1 minute, it looks like this. We allow it push up as far as it wants to go. Noticing that this push is extremely overbought on the very small time frames. Now, overbought can stay overbought for hours. I'm just saying if it is going to roll over, it should do it from here, right? If. It's a big if. So I'm taking the short on Bonk and I have the long. So in theory, since I'm shorting Bonk here, it should work out to the same. So that should cover the earlier losses if Fartcoin does roll over. Fartcoin is still bearish on the day. Bonk is up 1.34%. Bonk and Pingu are the only 2 green assets on my watch list. So all of these alts and total 2 and total 3, everything's red. This is dominance. So if it's up, that's not good for alts. But these are the only 2 alts that are up. So everything looks real bad right now. Because you got that high VIX and the S&P's getting murked. VIX is at 2046. It has rejected daily res. We'll be exiting the short above this white line. Because if prices are closing up in there, they're threatening to go higher, right? We want it to go lower. Notice what it's doing here. What is it doing? It's building in a sort of a bull flag formation, right? You see your oscillator is correcting, and it's correcting pretty hard. But price really isn't going anywhere. So if this thing gets like back down into here, and you're still up in this area on price, that's threatening a big move up. We know that when things are bearish, the big down candles are big. They're like big and they happen fast and hard. Right? They don't just slowly migrate sideways. That's not bearish. This is bearish. This is what it looks like when an asset is bearish. This is not This is consolidation. Bartcoin is almost back to neutral on the day. So we've more than broken above the hour midpoint. Above the midpoint, right, of the hour down candle. That's your breakdown candle. That's why this is the important candle. So you take out this candle's high and it's going to look like a bear trap, right? On the very near term. But on bearish days, I wouldn't be surprised if we nuke the highs of day and then roll over, because bearish days are just bearish. Volatility is up right now, so we got to be very, very careful. Very up. 20 on the VIX is a big number. But that daily res has rejected price. That one won't matter until we're trading above this one. As long as we're trading under this, this could be just a volatility spike to be bought up on the ES, right? Because the trend is up. So when you have an uptrending market, you typically buy dips. This is a first time in a very long time where we've breached the bottom edge of the expected move. Last time we did it was back in May, late May. This is the first time anybody's been able to buy the S&P under its expected weekly range low. So that can be a buying opportunity. We have not liquidated this weekly low yet, so this would be the bearish target. So what people are going to be watching here on the very near term, they're going to be watching their moving averages and stuff, right? Well, I need to get rid of... Here, let's do this. Oh, it should reject here if it wants to stay bearish. Kill the moving averages, because that's not right. Fartcoin's still pushing up. Bonk is still struggling. It's not really struggling, but on the small time frames here, see, this is what you got to be worried about when you're pushing down on your oscillator, but price isn't really going anywhere. That's more bullish than bearish. So if price is trading above this white line, we no longer want to hold shorts, because it will be then threatening the daily high and then so on and so forth. But as long as it's under this, we're okay with holding short. But this does not look like a short. Bonk has pushed up into the multiple hundreds on the P&L. 207, so double. We're doing okay. So we don't want to necessarily hold this short above that white line. You can see my short isn't a great position. My actual short entry should have been higher. But we haven't pushed up to that yet. Or did we? Yeah, we did hit it right there. So that would have been the candle to take the short entry here. So my short entry's bad. It's bad. But I'm okay because I'm mitigating my loss by holding long fart. This market loves to play games, and it's impossible. It's virtually impossible to figure out what it's going to do. Intraday chaos is so unpredictable. You got people seeing red across the board right now, so you know they're hammering the short sell button, right? All right, are you playing? Okay, no, I read that. No, I'm not playing Tesla today. Tesla, I should have probably. Let's go look at it just to see if it gave us a setup. So our normal intraday setups, we look at the daily time frame to see what's what. Yeah, there wouldn't have been a setup. So we like to play the sell if we have a bearish bias off of a retest of the 100 exponential on a 30-minute time frame. So yesterday would have been the sell Not today. Today there is no setup. You see what I'm saying? So even though we have what we like to see, we are losing this major formation. You're at the bottom of it. So there's no setup here. There's not a long, there's not a short. It's a nothing burger. Now, we could have shorted yesterday based on the data that we had from the previous day, the close under the 21. So yesterday, the short would have been at the 100 on the 30 minute. That would have been the intraday setup. Right there. That would have been the short. Today, you don't have any setup. You have it bouncing back up into a trend line, but I mean, will that hold? It might. I don't take trades based on stuff like that. Oh, bonk's up above, so I'm going to close. Bonk is back above. Once again, this is more bullish than bearish. That's not what we want to see when we're holding shorts. Multiple closes back above that line. Now, have we closed above here? Not yet. But we still don't know what it's going to do. It might want to run that high. Barcoin is positive on the day. Litecoin is up to positive on the day. So things are starting to shift on the watch list. You had everything just as red as it could be. Now you're seeing some alts pop up green. Bonk is literally almost about to make a fresh high of day. That's typically not a bearish setup. The Fartcoin longs still okay, so we're okay there. We don't have to worry about Fartcoin longs. Fartcoin is just doing its thing here. If we're going to short something, we want to short something that gives us a clear setup. Fartcoin is bouncing off of a huge level down here, your yearly open. So when Fartcoin liquidates the previous 4-hour high, it will have liquidated the high of day also. There is no short setup on Fartcoin. There might not even be a short setup on Bonk now. There isn't. You can see where the shorts are, right? As close to that as possible. But okay, so right now we haven't liquidated high of day yet on Bonk, but it is working on it. High of day. We can be short under this line. Above it, it's threatening that. We let price tell us what it's wanting to do, and then we react. That's what we do. We mitigate our money. We manage our money. We don't try to predict what price will do. We just let price tell us what it's doing, and we manage our money. That's how you become a successful trader. It has nothing to do with predicting what price will do. Nothing at all. Although that short on USD JPY looks really, really good. We didn't predict that would happen. We've just seen that happen so many times, so we were ready for it if it did want to do that, right? I mean, if you partaked in yesterday's live stream, then we went over it in depth, like a 20-minute explanation of why we were looking for the short before NFP. This does look like a failure here. It does look like you're losing momentum, but when you're on this low of a time frame, this oscillator isn't really going to help you. Unless it's a light volume time of the day. Heavy volume. We are mostly just watching levels at this point. Under this 4-hour high, we can hold shorts for the larger sell-off. But a lot of these things like Fartcoin, as I stated earlier, have been nuked for a long time. Now, it doesn't mean they can't get nuked again, but this thing has been burning the oversold area since this candle right here. You hit oversold right here on this candle. So if anything, we would think this would bounce, right? The next short setup on Fartcoin would be up in here on the oscillator, not way down here. We're trying to analyze trend and then take the best setups. Taking a setup down here isn't the best setup to take, but it's the yearly open. And it's a monthly open. It makes sense. If people want to buy Fartcoin because they think alt season isn't done yet, because rate cuts are back on the table, then right here would be the best place to do that. It's a new monthly open, and it's retesting the yearly open. July's over and done with. That's in the history books. Now we're working on August's price action. What we are doing in August from here on out is going to matter. August's open is right here. Boom, August's open. So that level will become relevant in the future, not so much today. So we don't really need it today because it's so close to the yearly open. So we ran the high of day on both Bonk and Fartcoin. So things look good to be holding longs, not shorts, so far. Could this change? Yes, absolutely. The VIX is at 20 bucks. Well, 1921. That's an elevated VIX. So we're watching the Bonk and we'll see what it does. That's a fresh high of day. But we could get chopped up here by trying to short back under this line. So we also have to manage that. That's what we do as traders. We're managing our money, not what price is doing, just our money. And the Fartcoin trade is pushed up into a decent amount of money right now. We're at 275, so not bad for what? An hour's worth of work. Not bad. Still looks okay. I mean, we're not seeing big heavy sell side volume come in here. Yeah, we are actually. You're still positive on this. But you did have that bearish divergence in there. So where are the sellers? Why aren't they hammering this? They're trying to, I promise you. People are shorting the guts out of that right there. Some of you are probably shorting that. This is where I want to hold shorts from. Because from here, as long as price pushes down, I can manage that. Up here, it's too risky. Because as long as price is up here, it's threatening to run other highs. So when price is running highs, I want to be holding longs, not shorts. I want to be holding shorts when price is running lows and making fresh lows. We're trying to catch and ride with momentum, not against it. We're not trying to fight against momentum. So now we're going to have a decision to make here. We take profits on Fartcoin, or do we just wait for Bonk to show us weakness and take that short? And that will level out both trades, and the playing field will be, we have money to play with. So now we can basically just let price do whatever it wants to do. We would be positioned on both, but we don't want to do that until it at least tells us there's weakness up here. Like, are we seeing volume build up there? A little bit. We are seeing a little bit of volume come in, but nothing like what's going on down there. That Fartcoin's not showing any kind of that. But we're going to react to what price does here. XRP is now up on the day. So we've had another alt turn green. Penguin is up 1.71%. Penguin is retesting a trend line as well, but it's not a big, like a real good trend line. They're all basically doing the same thing, right? They're all like testing Hive Day to see if the sellers want to show back up there or what's what. Close. Yeah, this doesn't look like a short sell. Not yet. Let me read some of these comments. Jobs revision cuts in September. Yeah, we saw that. Gart coin at yearly open. I know he meant Fartcoin. Yep, that's true, Mario. Up 30% on my fart short. Good job. Hopefully you took profits, because Fartcoin is definitely not short any longer. Some saying the bull run is over. CKB is up 1% on the day. Yeah, don't listen to those people. They have no idea if the bull run is over. Okay? They cannot predict what price will do. I don't give a crap what indicators they're looking at. People like to say that they called what price would do. They are not. They're not calling anything. Everybody that is a trader and is successful, they react to price, not call it. Shorting crypto and eating leaves while pondering the universe. Love it. And then Yusuf says, do you think 1.0943 is a good target for fart? 109? Let's look at what we got. For today? No. Not for today. Now, if today stays bullish, I'm not saying it can't get up there. I'm just saying, like, it's already made fresh lows, so you're anticipating a bullish engulfing candle, right? You would need this to keep going all day long to get up there, and it would be a bullish engulfing, as that's above yesterday's high. Could it do that? Of course. We have a bearish engulfing right now on USDJPY, so it could happen, but it's not a practical target. A practical target pick a target within the range you are in. So since you're trading on Friday and this blue box is Friday's price action, your targets need to be confined within this box, whether you are short or long. Because by anticipating a run up to 109, you are anticipating not only a bullish breakout, but bullish continuation. And that's not how we make targets in trading. That's like anticipating a lot bigger of a move than is normally even standard. So like if you go from the low of day to 109, that's almost a 20% move on Fartcoin. We know Fartcoin on average does 5 to 10% moves. You're expecting almost another 5% on top of that or more. You see what I'm saying? So we don't ever try to anticipate gigantic moves like that. We try to work within the range price gives us. Right now, we should be taking profits on Fartcoin longs. So let's do that. And that'll more than cover all the 2 trades we lost, the 3 trades we lost now. So we're down a total of $100 on 3 bonks. So we'll go ahead and take profits on the Fart. I'm 122% up on the day. Well, on this position. Let me get you up there. So we might as well set our take profit to 125% and get out with 70% on a partial. So we want to take 75% or just let's say 70, right? And the return is 125. And this will set a stop. Oh shit, we're above 125 already. So let's go 130. Shit, it's already above 130. So let's go 135. Shit. 70%. 135. What is going on? Give me 130. I don't want to enter a stop loss price. This is pissing me off. What is going on? Do I already have an order out? No. Partial, take profit. $1. 75%. Stop loss 0. 100%. The opening long take profit price should be more than that. Got it. 130. We got it, right? That's it. That's everything. We'll close the short. We'll close that. We'll see if we get filled. We can move this manually now that it's out. So let's just move it down. There, we got filled on 130. So we're golden. We made 249. We're still open, but we have very little profit left. That's okay. We're going to now watch Bonk just in case it wants to roll over because they're not pushing from here. But that trade is done. We covered our losses. We have profit on the day. And now we can go back to Bonk and continue to watch this. Because this looks more and more like a failure the more time it takes to go above that, right? So we'll watch this on the small time frame. We'll just leave Fart alone because you can set a 0% stop loss on the remainder of the position. So just entire position, 0% on the entire position. Boom, done, successful. All right, Bonk is back under the level. No, that's the hive day. We don't want to short it under that. We want to short it here. You could, in theory, short it here on Bonk and run a stop above hive day, right? In theory, you could do that. But to me, like, as long as you're still above this, you're threatening higher prices. on a normal day when I'm not trying to manage a live stream and everything else, like that would pretty much be done for the day. All right. I've already made a good amount of money today, $800. So, yeah, I'd pretty much be done. I wouldn't even worry about bonk because now we're going to have larger macro things for the market to suss out here. And Litecoin, XRP, Penguin, Fartcoin, and bonk, Jasmy is now up. So you are seeing a lot of things rotate back to green, but they could fall, right? They could still fall, but the overall market is still bullish. So it's going to be very important to see what the VIX does for the rest of the day. As long as the VIX rejects 2159, that's daily res, then you don't want to be holding short S&Ps because the overall direction is bullish. It's up, it's not down. Today's bad numbers made a little bit of volatility, of course, but once the overall market conditions come back around and this volatility starts to ease, they will go back to up slow and, sideways to up. It's only if volatility continues to expand will we have to worry about a larger macro move to the downside. So keeping an eye on volatility will be important, and you don't have to keep an eye on the chart. You can put it on your watch list because 2159 is the top. That's as high as you want to see the VIX go today. So as long as on the watch list it stays under $20, under $21, which you can't see that, then you're golden. Well, yeah, you can. So I know it's 2175. I can just round it. As long as this is under 2175, I don't need to keep an eye on the VIX chart. Because I already know what's what. I already know the VIX is potentially topped out here. Now above 2175, there could be broader downside implications. And then we would definitely want to be holding shorts on one of these green assets, not the red ones. The hype coin is still down 3% on the day. This might actually be a better way. Well, you're just now hitting oversold, like really hitting it. So yeah, I mean, as long as you're holding under $40 on hype, you could even short it. The bonk has cooled off all the way down to the bearish momentum here, and price hasn't even started closing back under the 4-hour high, that previous 4-hour high. So if you look at this, your volatility, or not volatility, but your momentum oscillator is showing you that now the bullish volume can come right back in for another run higher. You see why it's like dangerous to short Hive Day? It could work out for you. I'm not saying it won't work. I can't tell you what price will do from here out. I'm just showing you how dangerous it is to like not see these things. This thing could absolutely start to take off to the upside and you will barely have pulled back off the highs. But we have ran the highs on Fartcoin and this and other things. So if it is going to reject, this is where we want to catch it. So do I have bonk pulled up? I do. So now I can go in with an even smaller position size because I want to keep my losses to a minimum, especially here now that I'm profitable on the day. So I'm going to go in even with a smaller position size because I want to save the money that I've already made. I see this as bullish still, not bearish. If volume starts to pick up, above average volume, this thing could run and run hard. So if you do want to try to short it small. Save your money. It's about saving the money you make, not giving it back. But we don't want to hold shorts while it's above this, though. We kind of want what we would love to see, like in a perfect world, which we very rarely ever get a perfect world in the markets, is we want to see a big breakdown candle here. Show us that bearish pressure. I keep my eyes on the VIX. The VIX is still under $20. As long as the VIX is under $20, then all risk assets, all of them, are threatening higher prices. Huge volume spike here. And what's price doing? Is it going up or going down? It's going up. I don't really like to look at volume. I've only been looking at it here recently because a lot of people in the YouTube and X world love to do volume analysis. I think volume is useless as tits on a boar hog. It's useless as a screen door on a submarine. I can analyze volume with the best of them. I can analyze daily breakouts above patterns and intraday patterns with volume breakouts and things like that. So like if you were looking at this as an intraday momentum scalper, right? You would have drawn your little trend line on here and you would want to see this push up and break out on increased volume. Well, that's what you've got. So that would verify to the Momo scalpers that it might continue higher from there. So that's why you have people buying in this area. They're volume and Momo scalpers. It's not banks and big firms taking positions based on a 30-second breakout of a TTM squeeze or whatever you call this pattern, which is just a bull flag, right? It's just, to me, I find it very useless because any second now you can get a big volume spike on a down candle and then see price just drop. Volume isn't going to tell you the direction of price. Does it help confirm intraday patterns for scalping? In some scenarios, I would agree with that. But for my kind of analysis, it's useless. I don't need it. I don't use it. This is what I use. Right here, what you see on my charts is what I use on an everyday basis. I use objective price levels and price. I am a price analyst. I analyze candles, not volume and indicators. I'm just trying to help you guys build profitable strategies for intraday scalping. So now we're getting around 11 o'clock. So now you can start watching not the volume, but you could start being a buyer on oversold readings, right? Now, with the caveat that volatility is expanded today. It is much higher than usual. Higher volatility implies bearish price action. So you know that ahead of time. So that way you know that buying when you have a high VIX, an oversold reading on the small time frame might be detrimental to your health. But on a normal volatility expansion day, when the VIX is just trading normally under 15, right? Very small daily ranges and stuff, this strategy for scalping overbought and oversold readings does work. You won't win every trade, but you can manage your money in a way to where you can make a few wins, a few losses. You just want those wins to be bigger than the losses. You're just managing your money, and you're using indicators to do it. But since the price is up right now, and since the VIX is falling, it's not really falling. You're back over 20. So this is still potentially shortable. The VIX is back up over 20. That's huge. It's still above the yearly opening range. The yearly opening range is 17.21. But this is still threatening more bearish price action. But as long as you're under this price, then you don't have to worry so much. But you still have to worry because of the price that it is. Right? But the macro market conditions right now support a bullish narrative, not a bearish narrative. But we don't know how market participants are going to take this. So we haven't even made a fresh high of day on the S&P yet, on the cash market, the SPX. Your intraday VWAP is holding. But this does look bearish. Right? This is looking more bearish than bullish. If you make a fresh daily low, it is bearish. So that can help us with this. What is this doing? Well, it's failing at the highs. Right? It's failing now. So maybe a short is acceptable. But do it with small money. That way you can manage it easier. Instead of losing $500 if it skyrockets, you'll only lose a couple bucks. It just makes it easier. And then at the end of the day, you look at your P&L and you're like, damn, I did good today. You can wait for tomorrow or Monday. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. My goal every week is to finish the week out green. Every week. Finish the week out green. If I'm going into Friday and I'm already down on the week, then I'm not going to try to force the issue, right? I'm just going to have to accept the fact that it's going to be a red week. And it happens. It does. It happens occasionally. It's not happening this week. We did great this week. We did great last week. And we have a little bit of money to play with today. Not a lot. But we do have a little bit, so we can continue to watch these things. We're still just an hour in, a little over an hour into the New York session open. We're doing great. We're ahead of the game. We're seeing if this wants to roll over or not. It doesn't look like it does want to. The VIX is above $20. It's $20.35 right now. Keeping an eye on the tickers. Dollar is down, but it's just a midpoint check on the DXY. So the dollar's still situated for bullishness. So that strength or that big weak move we got on USD JPY was basically from the yen strength, not from dollar weakness. Let's go look at the DXY real quick, and then I'll start looking at some tickers because I have. And Bitcoin gave back all of that downside move too. Here on the 30-minute, look at this. This is impressive. Gave it all back. So that entire big down candle that you got at the open has been retraced. And look what you're doing currently. This is a bullish look, not a bearish look. Bitcoin looks to me like it's going to make a fresh daily high. Might not be the next 30-minute period. It might be an hour from now, but it does look like it wants to sweep those highs. That's after a weekly liquidation too. That's a big level. That's where we were looking to be a buyer, not a seller, a buyer. Oop, I just moved it. Market conditions are still bullish. Yesterday they were looking pretty bad though. No more rate cuts and all that. So if rate cuts are going to come back on the table, then we would expect a little bit more dollar weakness. But if you look at the daily, oh wait, what am I looking at up there? Oh, that's a month. Never mind. I was looking at a monthly chart. Yeah, this is not bullish. I was looking at this chart right here, thinking I was looking at the daily. That's a boo-boo move on me. This is a very bearish day on the dollar. That is a trap. Man. Yeah, so if you did catch the USD JPY, you don't have to do anything. You are going to set in this because we think we're going to see Monday down in here and then Tuesday down in here, similar to what we saw on GLD. And I did just upload a video that you can go watch after live stream where it's yesterday's stream. So we were talking about it while we were pushing into April's high. We were getting ready to position ourselves in anticipation of this exact move happening with NFP. The overall formation on this is bearish. Your yearly range is down. This is a 4-month consolidation, also known as a bear flag. So we are looking to position ourselves for shorts. We have a 135 target. End of year target. 135. That would fit the measured move. So maybe it doesn't get all the way down there. Maybe it doesn't make it. Maybe it only makes it to like 139 or 140. Well, you can target 140. That's right there around that low. That's a monthly swing low. Boom. So maybe target a little bit above this. And if we get that move, then you'll be positioned for it up here. And then you can look at the entire year range and say, well, there was only 2 shorts to take on this entire year's range. Here and here. 2 trades all year. Boom, boom. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. We just analyze trend. That's it. So you don't have to do anything. You can just hold it. You do want to situate, if you haven't taken profits on this very extended move and you want to, go ahead, take profits, move your stop to break even, and then sit in the rest of it for the rest of the year or until you get stopped out. Pay yourself for taking the risk. That's a very big move, guys. I didn't catch it with the paper account, unfortunately. I caught it with the small account and I caught it with the large account, the 2 main accounts and the small account. I did not catch it with the paper trade account. Here is the small account. Wait a minute. Oh, I can't show you because I'm on the paper trading. So I did catch it. I'm short up here somewhere. I shorted it yesterday. I shorted it going into the fresh day open, right? Looking for this to roll over today at NFP. But this line did invalidate our short thesis as long as price was above it. And you can see right when NFP came in. Right there's your 830 candle. Boom. So what we were anticipating literally happened. I didn't predict this, right? I just anticipated it because of the year trend, not the intraday. Now, anybody who got long USD, JPY this week have been stopped out. Anybody, because that is a fresh weekly low. So hopefully they took profits on the move up, because it looks like it may change, because the interest rate decision might change everything. This might slowly migrate back to the upside. So you have to manage your money. I managed the call out, you manage the money aspect. It looks great. Looks great. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to let it play out, see what happens. Because really and truly, this market does not support a bullish yen. Not really. It doesn't. So that's why I was starting to think yesterday, this might not work because of that. But we'll see how it plays out. There were so many people stuck in this. That's why you had such a large repricing lower. I think we'll see continuation from it, but we might not, right? But hopefully we do. Hopefully it plays out the way that we want to see it play out and just rotates lower all year long. Going back over to Bonk real quick, just to see what we're doing here. Oh, well, shoot. Kind of not really. It's kind of invalidating the short thesis. I mean, the more time it spends going higher, the worse it's going to be for shorts. For early shorts, like these people. The price may not even come back to 26.40. If it doesn't, then that means there are a lot of shorts stuck. Fartcoin has made fresh daily highs and beyond. So it's a nice little bounce off the yearly open, which is literally what we would like to see in a perfect world, because the asset is up on the year, but the problem is it's not really a very good trending asset. So the only reason I still don't love this thing lower is because of that such a long time being oversold. I figured we would expect at least need one of these. Now we don't need to see 3 or 4 of these. We just needed to see this one. We need the indicator to cool off a bit. Maybe get a 40 test for new shorts or a 50 test for new shorts. Is the 30-minute showing a short? It might be with the indicator. Yeah, it is. So on a technical basis, you could look for fresh shorts here. I don't know that you'll get downside continuation because it was so severely oversold for a long time. But this is where, we would look for a short scalp. Bonk hasn't even got up there yet, so I'm not going to close the fart long just to try to take a fart short. That doesn't make financial sense. Not to me. It might to some, but to me it does not. I would rather short a different asset that's doing the same thing. And see, we're still seeing overall weakness in hype. We're not seeing that strength yet. It is still down 3% on the day. The overall bearish thesis might come right back into this. What we got on W? Nope. Penguin? No. Fartcoin is the only one? Are you kidding me? Oh, XRP's doing it also. So how I would manage XRP shorts is if you close a 30-minute candle back above this, I would get out, right? I would get out of it. Or you could watch the 5-minute closures. Be careful on 5-minute closures because there's a lot of fake outs on 5-minute closures. Just confirm it with a 1 minute. Like, make sure when you get a higher 5-minute close, you're also getting that higher 1 minute close. I can't chase this because it's already started to happen. But if XRP comes back up to 305 and stops, I'll short it there. Or if it stops closing 1 minute candles above 304, I can short it there. Because we are getting a valid short setup here now. I still don't love it. But was this massively oversold for a long time? No. I actually kind of okay with this short. So yeah, this one will be the one to watch for shorts, I think. This one has more of a technical setup. XRP for shorts, as long as it's not closing candles above 305. If it's closing candles above 305, you get out of the short because a bigger move up might be coming. Alt season might not be done. It looks like it's cooling off, but today's close is going to be important. The bulls are still in control of this on a monthly basis. We're in a new month now. Oh, you could literally just be setting a low a month and then see it rock right back to the upside. It's today testing the 21 exponential. Even if you close under it, tomorrow will be more important than today. Because similarly to like USD JPY, this could be a trap. It could close under the 21. So tomorrow, not tomorrow, but Monday, you'll be looking to see if you're getting continuation under the lows. If you are, this wasn't a trap. That's legit selling. But if it fails and starts to climb back up into this range, then this could be a trap. It's the perfect spot to be a buyer overall. But this isn't a tradable asset. But if you see an asset doing this, then that's the asset you're paying attention to. Not book a meme, it's already lost the 21. Pep's already lost it. Fart lost it. Hype lost it. Everything on the watch list has lost the 21. With downside continuation even. So to be fair, all season might be over. Like this still looks like a short on the daily. But the best short will be when this is retesting the 50. The higher time frame charts are better to look at, even for intraday scalps. It'll keep you from shorting things that are nowhere near levels to short. Back to XRP. I mean, okay, so here's a perfect example. So you did get downside continuation today on XRP after closing below the 21 exponential. But now you're back above yesterday's close. So as long as you're above that, you're threatening higher prices. But look at what you tested. Look at that wick. Today's wick, what did it test? The 21. Looking at the 30 minute, what have we tested? The 100. This is a valid short setup. We just can't chase it. We need a pullback to short. I don't love this. This intraday price action looks like it wants to go higher. But if today isn't going to prove a trap, then we would like to position ourselves short. So we'll watch this one for a spike up and try to short this one, because this one at least is showing us the propensity for downside continuation. The only question we have to ask ourselves is, did the buyers show up here? And it makes sense that they would, because this is the midpoint of the July range. And today is August. So this, on a large time frame, on a monthly basis, the month of August has opened and retested July's midpoint and bounced hard. So the monthly order flow could be driving this, not the near term. For continuation higher, this looks good. What is that? That needs to go. It looks good for upside continuation. So simple. If you're closing candles above this white line, you don't want to be holding shorts. You don't want to step in front of that. Bitcoin has made a fresh 30-minute low. VIX is back down to 2020 and pushing lower. The ES, though, looks bad on an hourly chart. The SPX 500 looks like downside continuation. Just today, for today's price action. Right? That doesn't look great. I would expect if buyers were down here and hammering this, we would be at least up in this. I mean, there's not a setup here for longs or shorts. There's just nothing. You're in no man's land on that. I think XRP will be the best one to look for shorts for downside continuation. And you are getting that spike right now. So here's where we want to see if it fails or not. So let me get XRP pulled up on the exchange. Do we go ahead and take it now, or do we give it a minute? That'd still be kind of chasing. I mean, can we set in it? Can we set in that much pain back up to there? Yeah, we could, but it wouldn't feel good. And especially if it starts to push above it. The above it is what we don't want. Let's give it a couple more minutes here. It would be awesome if we could get in on an overbought reading. But that's not set up for that. Really not set up for that. We'll see what happens. While we're waiting, I started at 5 a.m. Pacific and caught many good scalp trades on short and longs, with Pepe, Fart, Bitcoin, and Solana closing the week green. That's good stuff, man. I love it. Nick says, nice management. I put my Bitcoin idea in Discord, trendline underside retest, and watch for short continuation. Yeah, I'll look at it after the stream. Lifestyle Media's target $500 a day, so $800 is just better. There you go. $500 a day, if you could do that, you'd be very successful long term. Very successful. I understand that, things are rough out there right now. But this is about learning a skill that you can take with you forever. Because not many people can do this, and definitely not many people can do it consistently for a living. You keep producing what you're doing right now, this week, you will be able to. No, I know today's Friday, Nick. NFP day is always Friday. It's always the first Friday of every month. NFP, always. unless Friday's a holiday. I have seen a couple occasions this year, or I think twice this year, it's been on a Thursday. Might have just been once, and it might have been once at the end of last year and once this year. But most of the time, under normal circumstances, NFP is every first Friday of the month. CKB might be shortable. Let's go look at CKB. That's the second time I've seen that ticker in the chat. We have July's midpoint pulled up there. We're above it. You have a fresh monthly open today. So this isn't one that I would love to short. But I mean, as long as it holds on an intraday basis inside of yesterday's range, you can. But this also looks like it wants upside continuation, right? It's doing something similar as XRP. On the longer time frame charts, the monthly, it still looks bullish, very bullish. The reason we had such a short side bias on Fartcoin and others is because they've lost their July midpoint. They lost it. That's why we were so heavily shorted on that asset. These assets still have a bullish structure on the large time frame. XRP's bullish on the year. XRP's bullish on the month. XRP held a midpoint check of the previous month's range. That is bullish. Look at the reaction you're getting today. That is bullish, not bearish. Same goes for CKB. However, if the bears are going to win, then they want to see it fail here today. Even on the daily time frame, like if you're just watching the last 3 days of price action, even on the intra-week time frame, this thing is still bullish. You're still closing dailies above the 21 exponential. You haven't closed one under it yet. At least for XRP, we can say we have. Right? We have closed one day under it. So if we're going to see downside continuation, we want to see it from here. I guess we need to take it at some point if we're gonna. Now we're really chasing it. All right, so we got to just let this go. I can't chase price. I'm not going to chase price because I can buy it or sell it here and it can just, this is where I want to sell it from. And a lot of things that were green are turning back to red. What's Bonk? Okay, we can short Bonk. Let's go back to Bonk. Bonk is, we got to go back to Bonk. We're chasing XRP. We can hit Bonk. Bonk is under our level. Very small position size because it's still threatening upside. But at least it's under the level so we can short it. And we can hold it as long as it stays under this level. But we can't chase XRP to the downside because it could bounce in our faces. So even though like you did take out the previous 30-minute candles low, so you've got that much going for you. On the hourly, this still looks bullishly structured. You're not going to even consider this as bearish until you lose that midpoint. And at that point, I don't want to short it under there. I would rather short it up here and catch it if it does do that. So I can't chase this, but people will buy this midpoint check. We know they will. We don't know if they'll be successful, but we know they'll kick in right here. So Bonk is a different structure altogether. It's also testing midpoint. So it could also bounce, but I'm talking about the long-term structure. You've lost your midpoint. You've lost all that. It's not a short according to this, so we could still get stopped out. We could still get stopped out. VIX is up to 2017. It's kind of sticking right there, sticking around that range. It's not losing it and it's not gaining it. It's like not doing anything. It's looking for time. It's just managing its time. It is made a lower high though. So these things can literally get bullish in our faces. Come on, give us that level. Never chase an asset. Never chase it down. See, if we would have sold it, we would already be losing money. Never chase. Let price come to you. This isn't necessarily chasing because this is the level we want to be short under. Because if it can't go back above this, then it's no longer threatening fresh high of day. It's back inside the range. Bitcoin's pushing pretty deep. What is Bitcoin structure? Okay, Bitcoin could bounce here for sure. It's at the previous week's low. Here we go. Here's your Bitcoin. Checking the previous week's low. Will buyers come in here or not? This is also undervalued. Your value area low is right there. Point of control is up here. So in this scenario, it does look weaker, right? But remember, if it starts to go back up to this area and beyond it, this will provide fuel for that high of day liquidation. All these shorts. It'll give fuel to the upside. But if it loses this, then that isn't even under threat, right? This is important for it to hold if it wants to see upside. Your VIX kind of just chilling here. I don't love that. I want to see the VIX give back most of these gains pretty rapidly. Because, like, look what it did yesterday or the previous day, right? When we retested that yearly open, it, like, instantly started to give back that stuff, right? So this has more bullish ramifications. But being way up here, things are different. So it needs to really start giving back some of these gains. Otherwise, that's going to make people make other decisions as the day goes on. This is an extremely elevated VIX. This means volatility is elevated. Both big moves up and big moves down can happen when you have an elevated VIX. So we gotta be careful. So here comes Bonk testing our level. Get ready. Get ready. I'm going to go ahead and take it with a very small position here as to not give back any of my profits I've already captured. So I'm in. Let's see what it does. Yen is pushing. But we kind of want to see the yen push for bearish positioning. Because if the yen is pushing up, that could mean risk off undertones are starting to take a hold of this market. If we do start getting risk off undertones, then your alt season is probably going to get hurt. And I say that with a lot of pain. Because I know so many people are holding alts and hoping for them to continue higher. I get it. The only thing I hold is Bitcoin. That's it. I only use alts as a vehicle to make money. It's a speculation vehicle only. I do not hold any of these for long-term gains. for long-term growth. Only near-term volatility is what I like about them. Don't rush the short. Wait for it. Yeah, I mean, if it's going to be a short, Nick, in my opinion, it should fall from here. It's as simple as that. You've already liquidated high of day. Then you failed at the high of day. So there's really no point to go higher. If it wants to continue to go higher, then we don't want to be short, right? If it continues to go higher, then we're probably going to see the VIX start to give back those gains. If that happens, then these can run. I'm not going to get out based on a 30-second closure. It has to be, minutes closing. And we're still okay. We don't want to see anything closing above this, right? It looks like it's trying. But if it's done, it should just roll over. The VIX is being very slow. So is the S&P. Like, not really doing anything here. It's not acting like super bearish. When this thing is super bearish, you'll get big expansion candles, maybe one or two up closes, and then boom, boom, right back to going lower. Look at yesterday. When you started getting bearish here, 2 up, down, 3, 4 up, down. That's bearish. Slowly sideways drift is not bearish. It's undecided behavior. It's not a one-sided market. It's very undecided. Hey, this doesn't look great for us. Hence the small position. Very small. That sucks. Choppy garbage. That's not a good close. Not for shorts. Hang on a second. Small position, so we're still not getting crushed. But it doesn't look good. You might as well get out. Doesn't look good. You need to see this start to drop. If just migrating here doesn't look good, let's go. Come on, give it back. Give it back. It's not going to give it back. Give it back. So dangerous trying to short things that are bullish, but nothing was bullish coming into today. So we're probably done playing games with this thing. We're gonna just sit here for a second more. Because, I mean, it's definitely looking like it wants to run the highs. Give it back. You know you want to. What's Bitcoin? Bitcoin is pushing under the previous week's low. S&P's kind of pushing, but not really. VIX is slowly heading up. We want the downside moves to be bigger than they are. The yen is also back to pushing down. It's not really going to do much, right? The yen had a huge move today, so the yen is probably going to be sideways for the rest of the day. The yen is probably going to be very, very sideways choppy for the rest of the day. But if it pushes higher, that will be, better for short alts. But if it starts to go back lower, you start to lose the VIX. If it starts to give back those gains, then your alts are probably not going to get killed. There's so many different things. So you should probably get out of it now while you can and just forget about it. Or I'll let you manage it however you want to, but I don't want to give back my gains for the day. So I need to seriously think about exiting this. So just maybe we can do that with a stop loss, right? Stop loss at high of day. Something like that. Because the Fartcoin is still up and it still looks okay. I'm still in good profits on Fartcoin. The Fartcoin isn't giving back a lot of its gains. It's still trading at high of day, right? So is Bonk. Like, that's not bearish. That's not bearish. That's bullish. That's the opposite of bearish. Bearish is at low of day. So I would probably stop trying to short alts today. Just to be honest. What is XRP doing? It's pushing. This is the level to watch on XRP. If you're above it, you can't be short, right? And if you're not getting downside continuation, why even get short? It's still early in the day. It's still early in the day, but a lot of these things are going to, they're going to set into trend if it is going to be a trending day. And what do we have right now? Well, right now, everything's on highs. So if it is going to set into a trending day, things need to start getting real bearish real soon. Otherwise, the bulls have control of order flow on the daily range. So you almost being a bear today means you are the one that needs to prove it. So with XRP, the high of day is not far from the open. But on some of these others, they don't look as bearish. You're well away from the open of day on this. So this could keep that bullish pressure. You're not a bullish engulfing. You're just a trending candle above that high. That's why that high is so crucial for short sellers. As long as you're above that, you're a trending candle to the upside. That's why I watch those highs like that. This little move right here could be called a bear trap on the very near term intraday, right? Because it did exactly what it tried to do. It pull in the shorts and then liquidate the shorts. But I think as the day goes on, you'll see either the bulls will win or the bears will take back over. We lost the yearly opening range on Pingu barely today, but it's been intact. It's been trading here for a few days now. Well, since yesterday, right? No, just today. Yesterday it didn't touch it. It was close. So this is all today's price action. Just chop. See, this is what I was talking about yesterday. You're making you're getting those higher, lower type action. That stuff you got to stay away from. That's not trend. That's the opposite of trend. Bonk is pushing up into fresh high of day. See how that hourly looks? That looks like upside continuation, right? You midpoint checked and up. It doesn't really look like a short. XRP is the same. Midpoint check, might not be this hour, it might be next hour, but it still doesn't look great for shorts. It could later on, but not right now. That's kind of, you're not really getting anything out of Bitcoin either. You're not, the shorts aren't winning and the longs aren't winning, right? It's kind of like, choppy. So you're making like a 3 drive bottoming formation here on the very near term. And to be fair, you have not made a fresh high. So you don't have that broadening wedge formation yet on the daily range. But almost. If you make a fresh daily high, you will have. And this is like on the very near term. A small Wyckoff accumulation formation. But I don't look for those kind of intraday patterns and formations. Not at all. Generally, we want to catch the moves early on and ride out the daily trend. And we did catch a long on Fartcoin from down here. And we got an expansion up, so that worked out good. We've taken a few hits on Bonk. So I'm not going to take any more hits on it, right? I'm not giving back all my money just to try to short something. Because the VIX is elevated. The VIX may give back all of these gains as the day goes on. The VIX still looks bullish. So there's that. But that's not really enough. Not really enough. S&P doesn't look bullish. Right now you have people literally trying to dictate direction by VWAP. What is the rest of the risk markets doing? The Magnificent Seven. Apple's down. They're all down. Apple's a down and trending lower. Microsoft is down and trending lower. Microsoft had bang out earnings though the other day. Nvidia is not down and trending lower. So Nvidia looks okay. Apple was Chop City at the beginning and then it gave it all back. They had earnings too. Last night. So this is post market. So this is going to be your all-time high on MSFT, right? Yeah. You're filling the gap. Filling the gap. Goog not really doing nothing today. Goog regained the yearly opening range and then lost it. Is there like a broader formation / pattern on this that I don't know about? Not really. I mean, let's use the all pattern, the all seeing pattern indicator. See if it can pull anything out of this mess. Nothing. It's got nothing. A nothing burger. Got a few on Apple. A bullish pennant, a rectangle. Oh, it's got 2 upside targets and 2 downside targets. Take that with a grain of salt. Tesla has a huge downside target of whatever that is. I have no idea. A triangle? I've never seen anybody draw a triangle like that. That's weird. Okay. see a bullish rectangle, but that didn't play out as you went into a larger time frame consolidation. I think the pattern that we have on Tesla is the correct pattern. I think that the pattern that we're looking at on Tesla is the right one, right? If you break out to the downside, we'll be looking for a larger move lower. If it holds and breaks out to the upside, we'll be looking for a larger move higher. This is a period of consolidation. You're in a monthly consolidation here. You're trading inside May's range. That's all you have on Tesla. A 4-month consolidation. Well, a 3-month consolidation, because this was an expansion month. Bonk, fresh hive days. So just quit trying to short that thing. And Nick says XRP has a lot of willing bag holders. I agree. A lot of these cryptos have a lot of willing bag holders, right? A lot of them. So they definitely want to see alt season continue. And I think, honestly, with the overall broader market, it can continue. I don't really see anything that says we're done. Right? Nothing really. Other than yen strength. That could be, it could be an indicator, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's done, because Swiss franc used to be looked at as a risk off currency as well. And the Swiss franc has been doing nothing but go up all year. So it has been rallying all year with the broader market. So this thing used to have risk off implications. It doesn't any longer. People just love being in this. They love giving the Swiss their money. The yen is still more risk off, right? Because you had that impulse leg up at the beginning of the year. It was a risk off scenario at the beginning of the year. So this broader trend that we're looking for on the yen may be wrong. I also look back in time. This doesn't really do great for trending, but we can look at it. Like the seasonals. So this is the year that we're in currently. And we're looking for it to break out to the upside and continue to trend higher. It looks like these bearish trends worked out real good. This uptrending year here wasn't very good. So yeah, we'll see. If risk stays on, which it looks like it will, we're in a rate cutting federal cycle, right? The reserve cycle is to look for keep rates restrictive but also cut. Yeah. All right, this one's stuck here. So yeah, I mean, I think the markets stay bullish with everything else. I think the rates will get cut. If we get higher unemployment, they will cut rates. That's what they're for, right? But we're just not really seeing the markets get bullish off that news. So your majority of your risk markets are bearish on the day. What are they on the week? Let's look at them on the week. The Apple's down on the week. Microsoft is up on the week. Nvidia is up on the week. Amazon is down on the week. This looks like a failure. Google is down on the week. Meta is up. So it's mixed. It's a mixed bag. This piece of garbage is down. This thing is just garbage. It's just going lower too. Yuck. I don't know what happened to Intel. It's been a 5-year downtrend. I mean, you had one up year in 03 or 23, sorry, but it's been in a pretty consistent downtrend for the last several years. But people do not love this asset. IWM, did we lose it? We did. I missed it. We were even watching for that to happen. Remember, I even said if they don't do cuts and we fall under the early open, we want to be short the IWM. But now with this news, that might cause buyers to show up looking for rate cuts. Rate cuts will help the IWM remain bullish. So the last 2 days when rate cuts were off the table, they were short. They were selling the IWM. That would have been a great short. I just missed it. But we even had it on watch. Was waiting for that to happen. All good. Riley stalled out here. What is gold doing today? Bouncing. Big bounce on gold. This is a put buying opportunity on GLD. This is the retest. If it's going to damn, that's a lot of momentum. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of momentum, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and buy a put on GLD. Let me see where. Because it has broken out of this longer term formation, but it's right back in it. So the blue line is for the line chart. So this was a bull trap and then it failed. It could just be a longer term consolidation, right? So if you don't get downside continuation from here, then this is just a broader consolidation. The best short on this was after it failed. But this is a potential opportunity. It just doesn't look great. I hate selling into that kind of momentum. It's also retesting the July open. Damn, that's a huge gap up. I mean, it's just money, right? If we're wrong, it's just money. So, I guess 28 days? Because if this works, if it does end up rolling back over, this is a tough situation here. This would be a perfect setup if it had taken longer to get here. Since this is that NFP news. What do we want to risk on this? Not much. But the near term could take, it could take 5 days for this to determine what it wants to do. So I don't want to be too near term. It's just longer term, the puts become a little bit more expensive. So we could do a spread. Like, let's go out long term. So this way we don't lose a lot of money in time, right? and just put on a spread. Let's do that. Here, let me get you over there. I got 140 days out. It's December. So if this longer term formation is going to hold and we do see it give it back, then we don't want to be like way out of the money. So we could put on a spread. Like we could buy the 309s, a wide spread, and sell like the 304s. No, that's wrong. What is going on here? Oh, I want this at 0. What is going on with this? Oh, I did it wrong? No. Oh. Something is still wrong. This isn't right. This stuff isn't right. My max loss shouldn't be 1,000. Well, it would be, right? Because I'm paying the premium. Something is wrong. Here, let me just do this. Where's the cancel button? Let me cancel, clear. There we go. That's better. There we go. So something was wrong. So we could buy the 309s, we could sell the 300s. That would be a $9 wide spread. So max profit would be 445, max loss be 355. So basically all we need is for price to go under here. And down here would be like max profit. Or you could just buy a put if you want to risk the entirety of the premium. Right? That changes everything. Max profit, ignore that. That's if GLD goes to 0. We know it's not. So you're just looking at your risk parameters here. That's 140 days out. So we could put on a wider spread, but I don't know. I guess that would be good. You would be able to double your money. That's what a spread will do for you. It just basically will allow you to double. Let's get that risk down a little bit. It'll just be easier to manage if price gaps up Monday. Like if you gap up in here Monday, you won't lose so much money on the premiums. But I honestly think this is a selling opportunity. It's just that momentum has me bumfuzzled. But this is what we needed for the opportunity, was a retest of this area for that short to work, if it's going to work. We don't know that it will. So the best way to do that would be to manage. Look at Bonk. It's going. So we can go back over to Fartcoin because that's what we have long. It just kind of isn't doing anything, is it? All the markets have all this volatility. Oh, VIX is giving back some of the gains now. Bitcoin is now, this is bouncing back up. I told you, buying area. Be careful getting short today, guys. Yeah. Back over here. So let's put this on. This way, the max loss is 275, and that's so much time on this. 140 days. So much time. Let's see if we can get filled. Come on. There we go. So basically, if this gaps up Monday, I'll be closing it for a loss. And it won't be, max loss, as long as it doesn't gap up to like $500. But yeah, we'll see what it does. If it rolls over, then we'll be in profit. I don't I don't love the momentum coming back up into this level. I promise you that. I hate that. So I don't love the trade. Because this could be a broader consolidation. Instead of being a triangle, it could just be a rectangle. Now, there's a beautiful double bottom down here to liquidate, so I like that. But I won't love it if we're back above the July open. I want to see this level fail today on a closing basis. So you could just wait for that. Wait for the close. If you're closing under the July open, then put the trade on maybe. I'm putting it on now because I don't care, right? I know what my risk is. It's 275. I'm perfectly okay to lose 275 on this account. But I stand to double my money if I'm right. So we'll see. It was a perfect triangle formation, a perfect bull trap, and then retrace. See ya. So, but this did the exact same thing that the yen did. So the yen got a big bounce. So it looks like gold is trading with the yen. So it kind of looks to me that being short gold and long yen is an offsetting position. That kind of sucks, man. Because I would love for this to roll over, and I would also love for the USD-JPY to roll over. But maybe USD-JPY rolls over because of dollar weakness and not yen strength. See, we don't need the yen strength to win on that trade. We just need dollar to be weaker than the yen. That's it. If the yen is weaker than the dollar, that USD-JPY trade will work out, and gold could still roll over, theoretically. Anyway, we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. Did we cover Bitcoin? I might have missed it. Took a long trade at 115 as I was a bit late to the party. Hope it holds. Yeah, we'll look at it. So 115 is close to last week's low. Last week's low is 114,750. If my theory is correct, right? That's a big fat if. Then technically we want to see Bitcoin trade away from last week's low. We want to see buyers buying last week's low. The reason is because the next liquidation point on a weekly basis is all the way down here. Now there are daily swing lows it can still attack, but even then, it's way down there. So either Bitcoin's going to lose this level and lose it in a big way, or it's going to hold. There's nothing else to liquidate. You have intraday levels. That's it. Intraday levels to liquidate. As far as daily and weekly swings, you don't really have nothing till way down here. So if the buyers think Bitcoin is going to continue higher, then they should step up here. As far as will your exact entry make money or not, I can't answer that. because your entry, if it's on the Coinbase exchange, that is right here. So you're very, very close. Price is still very close to your entry. And that always sucks. But if the VIX continues to give back today's gains, Bitcoin should start making higher highs and higher lows at some point. It is wedging on an intraday basis. So there's your daily high. You've liquidated the daily low, but each time you've gotten to look like you were going to liquidate the high, you failed. You tried to liquidate the high here, failed. Tried to liquidate the high here, failed, but at least it's a lower high. I mean, higher low, right? It looks okay. It looks okay. This is support building, but it has to keep doing that. So if price is at any point trading under last week's low, then I don't really love the long, because it just says, at least for today, people aren't really paying attention to last week's low. Or the buyers are just not as strong as we want them to be. Remember, ETFs are eventually going to make intraday price ranges on Bitcoin much smaller, because more and more people have the ability to participate in Bitcoin's volatility because of the ETFs. So I would just kind of, I mean, I don't know what you're risking to be right here. I don't know if you're in this with leverage or if you just bought Bitcoin. So if you just bought Bitcoin, I think you're okay. And I would start to maybe think about repositioning if it starts making fresh daily lows later on as the day goes on. But I mean, at least we don't have massive volatility, which is what the short sellers today thought they were going to see. And to be fair, at the beginning of the market, we did have quite vicious volatility, but it is waning. The reason volatility is waning is because the VIX is giving back some of that volatility. That's a good thing for risk. I don't know if it will be for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is risk, it's just riskier risk. So I like your positioning. It's up to Bitcoin to prove that other people like it too. Now, as far as looking at the BLX index, because someone wanted me to discuss Bitcoin on the 4-year cycle model, right? So let's go look at the BLX index, because it gives us the most time. This isn't the right chart. I have a 4-year cycle model chart on BLX somewhere. Let me find it. Well, this kind of is it. I don't see this can't be it. I guess we'll look at every damn chart till we nail it, right? Democrat, what is this? It's not this one. Give me a second. I have a 4-year cycle model chart somewhere. I promise. Unless I deleted it. Oh no. Did I delete it? Oh my gosh. It's looking like I deleted it. It's going to be on this one. Oh, this totally doesn't look good. Yes. Found it. Shoo. I was starting to think I lost it. Okay. So 4-year cycle model, right? this chart has it all. It has everything. We can look at it on log or whatever. I don't know what those images are down there, but so like after the halving, you get the bullish rips, and then you get your bearish phases, right? And back then, you would see massive rips, like 9,000% and an 86% drop. But the cycle model repeated every 4 years. You'd have a halving, you would have a blow off run to the upside for like a year and a half to 2 years. And then late, you would see that top out in November or December, right? So this was the last 4-year cycle model that we had. 2017 did the same thing. You had your halving, big rip, then it topped out in December, put in a bear market, lost 84%. And then the same thing this time, right? We ripped after the halving, couple years, 518 days. This time it took 549 days to top out. But look, it topped out in November. That's when you put in your last all-time high, November. And then it rolled over, gave back 77% of the gains. Here you are. I don't know if this is the actual month. Didn't we get to having in April of 24? Yeah, April 24. In April, what? 14? 19. I don't think we're going to get... I'm on a monthly, so that's as close as you're going to get. But anyways, the same thing. You get the bullish market phase of the cycle, and then around 549 days or November/December, you look for the top. So you would be doing the same thing if you think this is going to continue. You would be like done by being a buyer in November-ish, because you would be looking for the same thing to happen that's happened every single time. But here's the thing. This year is different because we have ETFs and all these other vehicles for people to participate in Bitcoin's volatility. And we haven't really seen the big explosion move to the upside. The last time we got a 689% run from the halving of upside. If you do that for this cycle, it's going to be much, much smaller. It looks like I went from the top of the candle even. So if we just go to where we are now, that's only a 67% return since the halving. So either Bitcoin is late taking off, or this time is different. Notice when the halving is correlated to when you get bullish breakouts. Halving, and then 4 to 5 months later, you're breaking out to the upside. Halving, 4 to 5 months later, you're breaking out to the upside. Having 4 to 5 months later, you're breaking out to the upside. Having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 months later, we broke out to the upside, and that's it. Petered out. We've been consolidating ever since. So that's why I'm saying this time it might just be different. And the only thing that we can say for sure that is different is we have 10 ETFs, and MicroStrategy alone has 3 products that are not ETFs, but kind of like ETFs. They're just levered ratioed products. So what I'm trying to say is there are, and also people are investing in those Bitcoin stocks. You have random companies now like medical goods producers buying Bitcoin because their stock sucks so bad. They just want to participate in Bitcoin volatility as well. But here's the thing, we're not seeing Bitcoin volatility. So the ETFs are definitely hindered the amount of upside volatility we could look to experience up to this point. So why would you figure that the top would be the same? That's all I'm saying. Like, it could be, right? It could be. You could see the exact same thing happen. But everybody's onto this chart now. We were talking about this chart last time, and then we were done. We nailed the top. We shorted it. We were short for both swings. We nailed it better than anybody, or better than, we did good, right? But I think it could be different. We're not seeing the same kind of price action that we would normally see. We would already be seeing Bitcoin have mooned at this point. You haven't even really gotten 100% above where the halving took place. Every other scenario, once you got the halving, you exploded to the upside. I mean, this by itself proves diminishing returns. The 4-year market cycle proves it. 9,000% during 2012-13 cycle. 2,800% during the 16-17 cycle. 600. You're seeing diminishing returns on a percent basis. But damn, like not even 100? Okay. So we are definitely seeing diminishing returns. That's a fact. Nobody can dispute that. What is different from this cycle than all others? Well, we have ETFs now. So that is crushing the volatility on Bitcoin. Therefore, you might not top out in November, December this year because of the ETFs. Here's the thing. If people keep buying Bitcoin because of the ETFs, so it makes it easier for them to put Bitcoin on their portfolios, like their 401ks and stuff, they can now put a Bitcoin ETF as their exposure in 5 to 10% of their portfolio. That's different. People were not able to do that. So if we continue to see people doing that forever, using their 401ks to invest in Bitcoin volatility, then in theory it should act like the S&P 500 over time from now on. It should just slowly migrate up, except for those risk off periods that we get that lasts for, 1 to 2 years. There's some investors nowadays that think that we won't see that happen anymore even in the risk off or risk on scenario. Simply because the politicians are kicking the can down the road. So we'll see the kind of bear markets that we have been seeing. They last for a couple months, couple weeks, and then they're over. And then the buyers, boom, bring it right back up. That's what we expect Bitcoin will do from here on out. We expect it to trade more like a risk-on asset and just keep growing over time. So we think the 4-year cycle model theory is done. And the only way to know for sure is to wait until about April or May, even into June of 2026. If Bitcoin has not experienced a bear market yet by that time, that's pretty sufficient evidence to say that you just might not, right? You just might not see it anymore. But only time will tell. But if you still think that this cycle is still intact and I'm crazy, I don't know what I'm talking about, then you need to stop buying Bitcoin around November this year. Right? And that's it. That's all we got. There are on-chain aspects that suggest we are nowhere near a euphoria top here. Nowhere near it. And we're in August. Where were we in August here? Well, this was different, right? Because this is when China banned mining. So it's best to look at this one when it was running. It was running still. And this cycle also, where were we in August? We were running So, I mean, I don't know if it will. I don't know. It was much easier to anticipate back in November of 2021 because, like I said, we had inflation spiking and the Fed came out and said in October that they were going to change monetary policy. They had to start hiking interest rates to get ahead of the spiking inflation. So we were going into a hawkish period of monetary policy. That's why ultimately we got bearish on Bitcoin, not because of the 4-year cycle model, but the 4-year cycle model helped us pretty much pinpoint the top. But it was because of monetary policy. This year, monetary policy right now is in a rate cutting cycle. They're not going to start hiking interest rates. They are going to be cutting interest rates all the way to 2027. That's their, like, right here is the dot plot matrix. This is 2025. Here, I'll fix it. There, you can see it now. 25, 26, 27. This is the Fed's latest dot plot matrix. The median is down lower all 3 years. So we're in a rate cutting or a rate easing cycle. In theory, the market should be bullish all this year, all next year, and the year after. In theory. Because of Fed projections. Now, if the Fed at any time comes out and says, like if we see spiking unemployment numbers, for instance, that's going to change things, right? We did see a spiking unemployment number today. Is it a spiking number? No. Was it higher? Yes. I don't even know if it'll be on this chart yet. Yeah, it is 4.2. So we went from 4.1 to 4.2. This is not spiking. It's within expectation. Anything under 4.5, 4.6, the Fed's okay with anyway. So it could go all the way up here and they'd still be okay. So this will have broader implications each month moving forward. So August's NFP will be very important. So if the Fed anytime has to come out and like start cutting rates harder, here's your Fed funds rate. This is where we currently are. If that unemployment number starts to spike hard, they will cut harder. That will not be the time to start looking for risk off yet even. You still need the blow off to happen. So right now, that's what I'm saying, on the macro fundamental basis, we have a 3-year Fed policy that is sufficient for a rising risk asset. Unless the Fed comes out and changes that, and they're not going to, unless unemployment or inflation start to spike. Those are the two things that the Fed can fix. That's it. That is their two mandate: stable prices and jobs. That's it. So with inflation, they raise interest rates to fix inflation. Well, we had inflation, they fixed it. It's down. Now we're in a easing policy. Inflation is low. Good. Now we can start cutting again. That has a broader implication for risk on for at least till the end of 2027. Unless inflation or jobs, unemployment starts to spike. And even, like I said, they're not cutting rates now because of inflation. Inflation isn't even part. The Fed is concerned about inflation, but inflation of specific goods that the Trump policies can affect. Tariffs. They're concerned that those inflationary prices will be passed on to consumers. But since I've been alive in this world, prices have only gone up, ever. They have never gone down, regardless of what this inflation chart was doing or not. Can you ever remember a time when the price of milk was going down? No. Even though this chart, right, like go back to where we had several high bouts of inflation, but for the majority of our lives, inflation was fixed under 6.5% and above negative 1%. And through this time, eggs, milk, bread, gas, literally everything have gone up. Rent has gone up. House prices gone up. Literally everything. My uncle used to buy houses when I was a little boy. I was 5 years old. I would go with him because he would put me to work, right? He would have me out in the yard picking up sticks or something. As a 5-year-old boy, you're not going to get much work out of a 5-year-old, right? Their minds are just too drifty and wondery. But he would take me with him to the new properties he was buying, houses and properties. And he was buying into properties because he wanted to retire. He ended up at one point owning like 30 houses and renting them all out. It wasn't until he retired from his job that he started to sell those houses. He made buku money, not because of his job, because of his investments. Housing prices have always been going higher. Always. I remember him selling houses that he bought. He bought houses like for 8 and 10 grand back then. Selling those same houses for 70, 80,000. Some of the bigger houses he bought for like 25, 30 G's, he's selling for 225, 250. This was years ago. Now he would be able to sell those exact same houses for 500, 600K. Nothing goes down. When the Fed's talking about inflation, they're not talking about eggs. They're talking about this chart. This is what they see as inflation. And it's been trending lower. So they're going to start cutting interest rates. If they stay restrictive, they force this number to go negative. They don't want that either. That's deflationary. They want inflation to run steady at about 2%. If that's happening, then we can see sufficient growth in the economy, GDP-wise. According to their hundreds and hundreds of people who are economists. They went to high school and then they went to college to become an economist. Those people. They just kick the can down the road. And as long as they're going to keep kicking the can down the road, I see S&Ps and Bitcoin both slowly going to the moon forever until it all falls apart. But here's the thing. When it does ultimately all fall apart, it ain't going to matter what you're invested in. People are going to be knocking people out with sticks over a can of corn. You got corn? Bonk. Now you don't. I took it. So it ain't going to matter what your investments are. If that happens, then that's my economics class to you, 101. As long as everything stays working normal, these asset prices are going to keep inflating over time. The dollar's deflating, these will go up. The value of the dollar literally is losing pricing power. So these will continue to skyrocket. Stay long. It's almost impossible to time a bear top, like a bear market high. Almost impossible. But we can watch inflation and jobs data. We can watch that ourselves. We don't need the Fed for that. We can see when we have upticks. We can watch the chart over time. And then we can anticipate the Fed's, what they're going to do. Their course of action will be to either raise or lower interest rates. So, spiking unemployment, they're going to have to lower interest rates faster to fix that. That will thus cause inflation. So eventually, once they get the unemployment number controlled, then they'll start hiking interest rates to fix the inflation. And on the cycle repeats every 5 or 10 years, right? Because of the politicians. They have a spending problem. They always will. Trump said he was going to get the balance, or try to balance the budget, and then brought out a $4 trillion expenditure bill to tack on to that budget. We haven't been a country with a good budget since Clinton. He was the last president that went out of office with a budget surplus. Every president we've had since has added trillions of dollars to debt to that. Trillions. Bush Jr. started it. $10 trillion. Obama doubled down and added another $10 trillion. Then Trump, $4 trillion. Biden, $6 trillion. Trump, another $4 trillion. We're going the wrong way. It's going the wrong way. So yeah, a lot of people think eventually the chickens are going to come home to roost. And when that happens, this system will be forgotten. There are too many crazy people out there that want us to live the same way China and Russia do. They do not like freedom. They do not like being able to control your life. They hate it. They want and think you're too dumb to control your own money. They should do it for you. That is true. I mean, every policy they enact, they never give back power. They take. They never give it back, ever. These are just things that happen. So I hold my Bitcoin. I sold during the last bear market, this phase right here, because I had too much of it. I wasn't comfortable with these crazy price swings. So I took profits. But what I still own have once again exploded to the upside thanks to these 2023 and 2024. You see what I mean? But I'm not going to sell any more of my Bitcoin. I'm comfortable with the price swings now. I'm going to hold what I have. I make enough money trading alts and stocks and options and everything else, Forex, to pay my bills. So I don't need to sell Bitcoin. I don't need to do anything with Bitcoin. If you can trade Bitcoin and you're a profitable trader, say you have an account on one of these offshore exchanges that allow you to trade Bitcoin perpetual swaps, you should do that instead of buying Bitcoin. Because that's how I accumulated so much Bitcoin. It wasn't because I was buying it. I shorted the inverse swap contract up here. And every time I'm right on my trades, I got paid in Bitcoin. That's how I amassed so much Bitcoin. By shorting the top. And then shorting again, and when we retested the early opening range right through here. So I amassed a significant amount of Bitcoin. Weeks used to let me do that, and then they stopped. So now I have to do it with Tether. I can't accumulate Bitcoin on an inverse swap. But if you can, that's what you should be trading, not Tether. You should be trading your way into owning a shitload of Bitcoin. And you never spend a dime for it. Imagine that. If everybody could have learned to do that the last 6 years, how much Bitcoin would you have now? A lot more than people that are buying it at $100,000 a coin. It's insane. I never thought Bitcoin would get to 100K. I thought it was crazy up here. Well, not through here, sorry. Over here is when I made all that Bitcoin. Right through here. Because we shorted the top. Fed was hiking interest rates. We shorted. And then over here, when everybody called this a Wyckoff accumulation formation, I said, no, we're shorting it if it fails to get bullish strength above the yearly opening range, as it's a bear trend on the year. And if that trend is going to continue, we want to be short. We shorted, boom. Smoked it. I accumulated so much Bitcoin through that period. So the Bitcoin that I have on cold storage, I'm never doing anything with it again. I've locked it away into a safe, and it'll stay there for my kids' if they want it. I don't need it. Me and my girl do okay, all right? we're both getting up there in age and we both have health problems. So it's hard to say how much longer either of us will be here. So I'm working on my kids' future, if you will. Pay my normal bills, monthly expenses, whatnot. But as far as building wealth, you're doing that for your kids. I don't go buy Lamborghinis and boats and jet skis. That's stupid. All that stuff has depreciating assets. You need to buy appreciating assets and don't sell them. Gold. Buy it. Legit gold that you can hold in your hand. Real gold. That's a physical thing. It's worth money. It doesn't go down. I mean, look at the gold chart. It doesn't go down. It's been going up forever and ever. There's periods of time where gold does nothing. Well, that's when you need to accumulate gold. Don't buy gold up here. Buy gold down here. Right? How often does gold get to a weekly oversold level on the RSI? Not very often. Not very often at all. Once, twice. I guess you could call that 3, 4, 5, and almost 6 times since 1998. Gold has hit a weekly oversold level on the RSI. That's when you should be buying gold spot or buying gold coins. Not when it's over freaking bought. Not when it's overbought. Buy it, throw it in the safe, forget about it. And you will amass a fortune. SPX, same exact thing, guys. These are appreciating assets. The S&P 500 rotates companies. If your company stops making money for an extended amount of time, Standard & Poor's kicks you out of the S&P, and then they bring in a new company that does make money. That is why this asset only grows over time. That's what its purpose is. That's why people invest in these indexes now more than ever, because they do go up over time. With occasional bouts of volatility, that's when you should buy. That's the secret, right? I know people hate hearing it, but it's literally the truth. This year, I was telling people now is the time to start to put a little bit of money inside that S&P, baby. And then people were like, nuh-uh, this is over. Bitcoin's going to zero. It's a Ponzi scheme. Like, all of your sky is falling people come out when the bearish volatility is in. It's when everybody's afraid. They don't know what's going to happen. And then 6 months later, we're at all-time highs again. And these, it happens every time. Every single time. There will be once, maybe, hopefully not while any of us are alive, right? If we're being optimists, hopefully the system stays in place until we're long gone. Because let me explain one more time. If the system breaks, you better lock up your corn. People are going to come get it. And I don't mean your Bitcoin. I'm talking about your Jolly Green Giant corn and green beans that you have in the cupboard. That's the stuff that's going to be important. Food. You won't be able to go buy it at the store anymore. So unless you grow your own, that's the shit that's going to be expensive and extremely valuable. Be vigilant. Buy when this thing is oversold. Just do it. Just don't attach leverage to it. Leverage kills trades. If you want to trade intraday volatility, trade it the way we do. So Fartcoin still hasn't really done anything. I mean, it's opened a new 4-hour candle, but it's not really going anywhere, right? At this point in time, I actually thought we would see it start to spike hard. It's not. We do have several assets that are back to green, but not really seeing a whole lot. Bonk did grow, and it's coming in for a retest right now. But this 4-hour candle just opened at 12 while I was ranting. So don't be a buyer. Don't be a seller just yet. Just pay attention to the VIX for the rest of the day. If it continues to lose these prices, which goes lower, then you probably want to be a near-term buyer on risk. If it stays range-bound all day, then you can't be just yet, but because the VIX can still go much higher. I don't think it will today. I think today's done. It's Friday. We got the news. It's noon. Most people are done trading for the week. The only people that are left are big investors that are positioning portfolios for August. Big money is positioning for August. They're looking at their assets for the month of August and determining which ones they think will be going up. So a lot of these down moves that you're seeing today on some of these, like Apple and whatnot, like that's a huge move. That's ugly. That's going to bring a lot of shorts into this. They're going to think this is topped out. This is a buying opportunity. Apple struggled this year, though. So whatever is keeping it down, unless they fix it, maybe not, right? But I still think Apple's a good company. I do. But we got a lot more time before this thing is really buyable. So maybe just wait a little bit. It's an elevated VIX. If it starts to rotate back to the downside, these things are going to get bought back up. Apple's still bearish on the year. No, yes. 25 is up here. So Apple has struggled. Apple, you should have participated in the AI stuff, dude. Everybody else did. Their charts look much better than yours. Yeah, these are just going to be pullbacks in the context of a larger trend. This might be different. I don't know. We'll see. They took a beat on both top and bottom and still sold off hard. That was NFP volatility. That's going to go away. That's going to go away because this is now up. The market went from yesterday. Look at this. It's gone up since we've been trading. Yesterday, I posted this. This was at 60 before, 61, 62 before we had the Fed rate meeting. Then they have the Fed rate meeting and then it drops to 41. And then we get NFP today. But this right here could absolutely be shut up. Up here today, it's up at 83. This is going to cause people to buy. They're going to buy these dips probably. Right back on track. I'm sure your talking heads on CNBC are like, what are we going to do with this higher tick of unemployment? It's 0.1%. If it's 0.5%, then you would see some massive volatility. 0.1%. And that was within expectations. They expected that number. They literally expected it. They got the number they wanted. I just did it. Give me it. Boom. There you go. Unemployment rate. We expected 0.1% uptick. We got that. These numbers get revised always, and you never really hear about the revisions. Look at last month. 14K. Come on. That's a terrible number. That was revised later. You just never heard about it. This is what it generally is around 110, 100, 120. It's normal. It's within expectations. Rate cuts are coming probably now. Next non-farm payrolls number will be huge next month. So this month we'll probably see a lot of things bottom out. Maybe not today, but eventually. Keep an eye on the IWM. It will let you know also what's going on because it's more like the broader market, not tech. Right? NFP comes out, you get a big jump, open the market, you set a fresh low day, and then it bounces, and then here we are, right back up to the open. Watch IWM for the rest of the day. It'll give you broader market implications, how people are positioning. Just remember, it's the beginning of the month. So they may be closing positions, they may be putting on new positions. We'll know more once we get into about midpoint next week, and then as time goes on, we'll be able to make better and better decisions. We'll have our monthly open. We'll be able to see what's going on with alts. Are any of these things finding a bottom? Total 2 seems to be for now, right? So all this volatility's got to be chewed through. Eventually, we'll see what happens. If this doesn't bottom, then all season might be over. It needs to find a bottom. It needs to. So time will tell us what's going on. And we will continue to position ourselves for it. Can I look at our ADA? Yeah. We'll look at a few things and then we'll wrap this baby up. Make sure you guys check out that video if you want to look at how I analyzed USDJPY. Anyways, Cardano looks good. Looks okay. I don't love it, but it was so close. Right? I mean, that is a close above. Barely. So basically, this will be my last line of defense for the bullish posture on ADA. If you lose 62 cents, then maybe something else long-term is going on. But if they can hold that, I mean, it doesn't look like the buyers are stepping up here today. I'll just be real. I mean, it's looking bad. We're not seeing huge down candles yet, so that's good. It looks okay, but it needs to hold the midpoint of July for it to look bullish still. Was Cardano trading in a larger range? It is. I mean, it broke out of May, but it couldn't hold May's highs. So it fell back inside of May's range. This is still range bound. It's still range bound. It's literally just chopping. You're making fresh lows and then fresh highs, then fresh low, then fresh high. You know what I mean? Like, what's next? A fresh low or another high? We don't know. It's not the best looking chart. I'll tell you that. This is when all season started for our Cardano. And since it started, it hasn't really been able to get anything going. Really. It kind of lost it, hasn't it? So you need the buyers to stick up for this chart. And they're not doing it. It's bearish on the year. That's the reason why it's struggling. Buyers like buying strong assets. Buyers like, it's a misconception that people buy low and sell high. It is. Buyers buy high. Buyers buy things that are strong. This is failing because every time it gets above the yearly opening range, the sellers hammer it back under it. Eventually, the buyers are going to give up. It needs to break out, and it needs to break out soon. So it needs to kind of hold this level. It's going to have broader implications if it doesn't. It'll start looking weaker and weaker until ultimately the sellers drive it back down to 40 cents. So it needs to hold. That's the level I would watch if I were you moving forward on ADA. Okay? I hope you're still here watching the channel, because I do rant sometimes for too long, but the info is solid. It's a good close. It's a higher close, so it still looks okay. It's not out of the woods yet. But the longer it spends under the yearly opening range, the worse off it's going to be near the end of the year. It's still maintaining bullish momentum on the monthly chart. That's good. Is it still holding weekly momentum? It is. That's also good. Where's the 21 under price? Good. Okay. As long as you don't lose this on a closing weekly basis, I think you're okay. But if you do lose that, not so much anymore. Then you'll have a decision to make. Do you want to continue to hold something that is giving back all of its gains? I wouldn't. Good morning, James. Oxum had shared how to take isolated, separated positions. So even if a small position go against me, I can get out without crying. Super risky, but the idea of poverty is just puke. Yeah. James has a question. If I own 100 XYZ stock, how do I protect myself if the market is bear or bull? I only know cover call. Some brokers allow stock lending depending on your portfolio. If you own 100 shares of XYZ, how do you protect yourself if the market goes down? You buy puts when the VIX is cheap. That's how you protect your downside risk. You do not buy enough puts to cover every cent, because there's a point that the puts will come into parity, right? When your asset's value stops going down and the put premium covers those losses. You just have to sit down with a pencil and paper and do a little bit of math to figure out exactly how much premium you need to buy. It's insurance. That's what options were really designed for. Okay? That's what options were really designed to do, to give people the ability to buy insurance on their appreciating values. If you buy a stock XYZ, your ultimate plan is for it to over time appreciate in value. And you bought the shares here, and your assets value is appreciating. Well, that's great news. How to protect yourself through this is when you're at highs. When the VIX is under 15, its volatility is low, $15. Then volatility is low. It's not as low as it used to be. Unfortunately, things used to be a lot better. But as money gets worse, the VIX will probably not return back to these low levels. But before Corona, we had the VIX down at $9.40. When the VIX is at 10 and under, those puts are so cheap. So you would literally just go to the option chain on your asset, XYZ. You would pull up the options, and then you would look for quarter strikes. So that's like, your option XYZ up here, and then this is the option chain. You would go look for these quarterlies because it's a 3-month expiration period. And then you would need to do the math so that way you can figure out which put to buy. So that way, if you experience like a 15 or 20% drop, how much will this premium pay to put that losing price into parity? That's the idea of buying puts. You don't buy 1,000 of them. If you own 100 shares, then you will only need to own one put every quarter. That will protect you. You would buy that put at a price at which you no longer want to lose money. So you own 100 shares of XYZ. Let's say you own 100 shares of GLD at $290. Let's say that's where you got in. Well, right now the price is at $308. So you don't want to lose money. Then you would buy the $290 strike. One contract will control 100 shares. And it gives you the right to sell those 100 shares at whatever strike price this is operating at. So if your asset loses value and goes back to $290, then all of those unrealized gains you will have lost from the share price dropping, the put will gain in value as the share price falls. And it will cost you, well, right now, there's only 60 days left of this quarter because July was the opening of the quarter. But as of right now, you can control 100 shares of XYZ at the same price you entered at for a small premium, $1.36. So if price continues to go up, you're going to lose this 136 or this 136, right? It's impossible. It takes money to make money in this business. You just have to figure out, can you do that every quarter, and does it make sense to put on premium? Are you making enough on a quarter-over-quarter basis from the asset's appreciation to justify losing the premium that you're paying to cover losses? It's just simple addition, subtraction. You might be able to do it better with multiplication and division, but I mean, you can do it with simple addition and subtraction. There's probably an algorithm that you can plug in and it'll do it for you, right? Nowadays, computers run everything. Yeah, you just got to figure out what value. It's all about value. And that's how. One put controls 100 shares. So one contract controls 100 shares of stock. Your stock needs to have options. If it doesn't, then you can't, really. I mean, theoretically, you could hedge off your upside value on a stock that you own with like an index product. But the right way to ensure that you don't lose money in a bear market is option premium. That's why some people only invest in optionable stocks. They don't invest in anything that doesn't have options because they can't hedge out that downside risk. And some premium is worse than others. Like Tesla premium, because Tesla is a very heavily traded asset, it has a high implied volatility. It might not make sense to even own a Tesla put. It might be way overvalued. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to do a little bit of math. That's all. A little bit of math. I take loans against my stocks, kind of like margin, and turn it over many times over and increasing. Yeah, you can do that. You can. If you own a lot of stock, that would be better than selling stock and paying taxes on the stock. It would be better for you to get a tax-free loan and use the loan to pay off your living expenses and then just pay back the loan, right? With whatever revenue stream you have, you're going to need a revenue stream in order for them to even approve the loan. And make sure you're not getting a loan with some whacked out stupid ass interest rate that's going to kick in 6 months or whatever. It has to be a fixed rate loan, because you're getting a loan to pay living expenses. This is how rich people stay rich. They don't sell their assets and then pay taxes on that sell and then live off that money. No, they keep their assets, they get a loan. They pay off their living expenses with the loan, and then they use their whatever revenue streams they have to pay back the loan. So they stay in this never-ending cycle of not really paying taxes, because, I mean, they pay taxes on any income. Like if they own a couple businesses, they have to pay taxes on those the income of the businesses. But as far as paying taxes on assets, they're selling assets no, they don't do that. They buy appreciating assets. They don't sell them, ever. I don't know much about loans. I make trading work for me, right? Trading works for me. It might not be the best thing for everybody. And don't ask me about taxes. I hire a guy. Right, I got a guy. That's my advice when it comes to taxes. Hire a tax professional, because they have to keep track of all these new laws that you and I know nothing about. That's their job, to do taxes. So hire that person. But taking loans, I mean, if you understand that risk, do it. I guess it's good. If you can get a favorable interest rate, yeah, I don't see any problem with that. Using Bitcoin, some places will do it with Bitcoin. Just make sure the interest rate is fixed, and make sure it's not like you can't do it with credit cards. You'll go broke. It's got to be a loan with a fixed interest rate. But yeah, options, that's how you do it. That's how everybody does it. Options have a lot of risk associated with them because they're levered products as well. So a lot of people just trade options, like I did with this GLD position. I'm looking for GLD to roll back over because it broke down out of that formation. I don't know that it will. So I'm risking $275 to potentially make $300 if I'm right. If I'm wrong, I will exit the position. But I did it with options instead of shares of GLD. I don't want to own GLD if I think the price of GLD is going down, so I can do it with options. I don't know that the price of GLD is going down. It usually doesn't. Gold usually goes higher. It's a risky bet, right? It would be easier to short an asset that usually goes down. There are a few of them. Where did Enphase go? Enphase is a perfect example of this. Enphase Energy used to be a very good stock to own, but really hasn't been since 2022. Right? Since 2022, Enphase has been a good short. Enphase went through a very long period of consolidation right through here in 2024. So it did not really trend at all back to the downside until We broke down in October. Look what happened after it broke down. It got hammered all the way into 2025. It's because it broke down out of this consolidation instead of breaking out above the consolidation. It broke down, so people sold it. That's all any one of us are doing. Technical analysis has, and it does work. I don't need to know anything about in-phase energy to just identify the trend. For this year, 2025, it has done one thing, and that is consistently make lower highs and lower lows all year long. It's currently making fresh yearly lows. These are the assets I want you guys to short. Not Apple, not Amazon, not Nvidia, not the S&P, not Bitcoin, right? In phase, short in phase. Well, not now, but we can find another one. Let's find one. We'll find one to short. FedEx has been a short all year. It's going to be hard to find one. I would have to actually log into FinViz. Let me do that. Let's look if we can find something. I have a couple scanners on FinViz. Let me log in over here. Go back to PepsiCo. Let's pull up FinViz. Let's see if we can find something to short, because people love to short stock. I don't know if I remember how to log in, actually. That is incorrect. Figures. Let me try this one. Oh, that worked. Okay, here we are. Close. So we want to pull up our screeners. Where? Here. My presets. Short squeeze, bearish. Okay, Adobe, bearish. Let's go look at it. ADBE. Oh, yep, it's bearish. Is it short? Is it shortable? Not right now. It just was. It isn't now. Let's throw on our indicators here. We only care about this year. We don't care about any other year. Only this year. So it hasn't made fresh yearly lows yet, but it is trending in that direction. So we want to wait for another opportunity to get short. The first price to watch, the very first price, will be here. So we need to wait for price to retest 370. If or when it does, then we could potentially look for shorts on Adobe. I don't know if we're going to find a short right now. BX just gapped down. This is a no-go. We could throw on some technicals. Wait, no. That just ruined it. TA on. Perfect. CL might be something, but it's already breaking down. Met might be a short. Fun might be a short. Let's go look at Met. It's breaking down right now, but it's breaking down right now. So Ooh, that's not. Okay. It just broke down and is getting downside continuation from July's low. This is the first day. It's got earnings coming up, so this one would be too dangerous. Too dangerous. But as long as it doesn't close dailies back above 75.97 after earnings, we could look. So this one's not going to have a short either. Earnings is too close. They could get a good earnings and that would just destroy your shorts. But yeah, that's how you find them, right? You just run a screen. VSCO hasn't broken down yet. UNH, nah, it just broke down. This one just broke down hard. This one, UPS. Yeah, there's not any great ones. Workday is breaking down. Workday. It's currently breaking down. You could see how resistance held. It wouldn't have been a short because this day broke out and closed above this day, right? That's a higher close. It's still lower than this bullish candle over here, though. So that's your resistance. And if I would have done this screen 3 days ago, we would have caught this short. I just didn't do the screen. So remind me to do the screen every time I go live so we can capitalize on some of these trades. This would have been a very easy short to take. As long as it's staying under 241, I would have been bearish. It's trying to break down now out of a bigger trend line, but not really. Oh, yeah, that's their trend line. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. It's not breaking down. Yeah, I don't know what they've got going on here. They got earnings coming up too. There it is. I just deleted it. Yeah, not many shorts showing up. Workday will be one to watch, but I would have rather caught it a couple days ago. I like to catch them when they're currently testing resistance, not after the breakdown. We just had to run screens. And then finally, last comment, still great double digit returns, to be honest. I also believe the hype is over now that the big money is involved. They always mess it up for the little guy. Yeah, I don't think big money is involved in alt season really anymore, to be honest with you. I think like the people that invented the company, they're big money. They're the ones that own the controlling interest inside the company. So they have all the coins to dump, right? But as far as like your banks and stuff like that, there's probably a few firms out there that control big piles of cash that only dabble in alts, but not many, right? It's not like everybody's is dabbling in fart coin right now. I would say literally the only people that own the majority or the controlling interest inside a fart coin are the people that built it. They got all of the fart coins. So when they start selling, then fart coin will get obliterated. As long as they don't ever sell, then fart coin will be a magnificent speculation vehicle. But we will be on it forever, no matter what happens. So if they do start dumping their tokens onto the market, we will see that. And we will short it to oblivion. We caught this move almost in its entirety to the downside. And we got long today on the yearly open test. So we're doing good on Farcoin. Bonk is the same way. We're going to keep watching it until it loses its, what do you call it? The hype around its little ETF I don't think the SEC is going to give them one. So it'll give back most of those gains if and when the ETF is not approved. So we like this one on the short side as well. But we wait for good setups. I don't love anything on the short side today. These things have already been shorted. Like, find one that's up in here and we'll talk about it. Find one that gives me something like this and we'll talk about it. There just isn't any right now. They're all getting liquefied. There's not many setups today, right? We take the setups when we have them, especially when they're clear as a bell. We're just not seeing that. Not right yet. I mean, Bonk it's just still just testing the bottom edge. XRP rolled back over. It looks like that price is held. Though it did give you an opportunity to short it. I just didn't get involved. So hopefully one of you were able to short at that price when you got back up there. Because you're in profit right now. Get out if you start trading above 305 because it might be going higher. We do good. We keep people on the right side of the markets, generally speaking. Short term and long term. I don't care. It don't matter. It don't matter to me. I look for opportunities every single day. But everything's pretty much been killed. Bonk is still up, but it is failing. But it's too late. Maybe we'll see what the VIX does later on down the road, but I will keep this price on watch today for Bonk. If it retests and fails here, then I will probably jump into a near-term scalp. But not until it gets back up there, because this could still be a support test. It just depends on what the VIX does. The VIX is back up to 21. So literally, yeah. So XRP is plenty shortable. VIX is currently pushing back up to 21.19 right now. I just don't have an opportunity right here. This is July's VWAP. That blue line, that's July's VWAP, volume weighted average price for July. It's a new month, so this will get moved over to August's open, just not yet. All right, I need a couple days here, and then we'll get it. But we could put on right now the days and see what happens. But yeah, just keep them on watch. You know what to look for. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you all trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody. We'll see you Monday morning if everything goes as planned. Make sure you guys trade safe.